It is Monday, July 14th. You're watching CTV Morning Live. Thank you so much for being with us. Ainsley McPhail is going to tell us about Indigenous tourism and how the Forks has a brand new center where you can learn a little bit more about some of the really cool destinations, some of the fun activities you could do right here in our province. But first, your headlines. They left with what they could carry as flames bear down. Garden Hill residents escaped by plane while others wait in Thompson ready to leave at a moment's notice. They can't breathe and they can't stay. How wildfire smoke is uprooting lives. More on the growing health concerns and what's being done. And talk about squad goals. They said it wouldn't work, but Ella the Moose and her swan besties are proving everyone wrong. That is so sweet.
Oh my goodness.
Bringing in Terry now. It was a beautiful weekend except for all that smoky haze.
That's just it. I mean, it would have been so nice to actually enjoy like some pleasant temperatures, and at least on Saturday the winds were on the lighter side. Sunday, a bit of a different story. Those winds did increase, although those increasing winds helped with that smoke momentarily Sunday morning, only to see it ushered back in again by yesterday afternoon. 14 degrees is what we're waking up to this morning, and yes, that haze still lingers. We've got winds out of the north-northwest, 14 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising, humidity sitting at 93%. Now, I will say we've been downgraded a little bit because remember on Friday, a lot of this map was purple, which we're still seeing in parts of Saskatchewan. And again, it's only a matter of a shifting wind before some of that heavier smoke is drawn back in again. But right now we're dealing with the air quality statement or advisory and not the full-out warning. So there have been some slight improvements out there. Maybe some more to come. We've got some showers that we're expecting to see passing through. Showers, maybe some thunderstorms. You can see a few lightning bolts firing off there right now, just a little bit south of Brandon. So with that precipitation, again, it might help with some of the air quality a little bit. The winds aren't expected to be very strong today, staying out of the north, though, and remaining fairly light. Here's a look at the futurecast. So a bit of passing activity through the morning hours. That could continue on into the afternoon or early evening as well. Then it does seem to taper off a little bit, only to see another round still coming overnight. And into tomorrow morning, we could still be dealing with this precipitation. Meanwhile, northern Manitoba looking to be on the clearer side, a little more sunshine, but again, the smoke is going to be an issue no matter where you are. And then once we're starting to see things clearing out, temperatures are actually going to remain slightly below seasonal, so 26 degrees is normal, and we got some cooler temps to enjoy throughout this week.
Thank you, Terry. As the wildfire threatens the northern Manitoba's Garden Hill First Nation, the military says everyone who wants to leave has already gone. The Armed Forces says more than 1,500 people have been flown to Winnipeg. A plane remains on standby in case more people want to leave. Garden Hill First Nation cannot be reached by road. The community of Snow Lake is also under an evacuation order, and people in the city of Thompson are being told to be ready to go at any time. Although in a Facebook post Sunday, the city said area weather today is expected to be more favorable to the control of fire behavior. Manitoba declared its second state of emergency of the year last week because of wildfires. Fire crews in Saskatchewan have made some progress in the fight to tame out-of-control wildfires, but some displaced residents say they still don't know when they'll be able to go home.
It's very trying on a lot of our community members. They're not used to being away from home for this length of time.
Flames breached the northern village of Beauval Thursday night. Damage has been limited to a concession stand and a vehicle, but crews are still dealing with the fire burning to the south and hot spots to the north and west. And officials are monitoring around 60 blazes in northwestern Ontario. Almost a quarter of them are considered not under control, and evacuation plans are being rolled out at North Spirit Lake First Nation and Pick-Ang-Ikum First Nation, with residents heading to Toronto and Mississauga. Intense smoke from wildfires is causing problems for many, forcing the vulnerable to leave their homes. CTV's Alex Carpa has the steps being taken to preserve their health.
It's just the one that keeps me alive.
Kathy Ross always has her puffer with her. She says she's been heavily relying on it for the last 2 months due to the wildfires.
I have asthma and COPD, and it makes it worse, like if there's smoke around me.
Ross is from Pimicikamak Cree Nation in northern Manitoba. She says the smoke in the community has been so bad and started seeping into her house.
I went into panic mode because of my lungs, so of course I ran out instinctively, and then I went into a coughing fit, and my puffers couldn't even help.
She was able to flee the smoke and arrived in Winnipeg earlier this week, but many are still stuck in their communities.
The smoke has been really thick. It's so thick that you can taste it on your tongue.
Nisachawayasa Cree Nation has evacuated its nursing home. Jesse Horodecki, who works there, says the situation was very hard on the residents.
We have some residents that were literally vomiting because their lungs couldn't handle the smoke that's in the building.
And wildfire smoke can have long-term effects as well.
So you're more likely to develop asthma, especially if it's kids or pregnant people who are being exposed to this.
As for Ross, she is happy to be away from the smoke, but is sad not to be home.
The smoke did affect me, and I'm trying to make the best of the situation here.
Ross is one of the around 6,600 people out of their homes because of the raging wildfires, all hoping the situation gets better and they can soon breathe a sigh of relief. Alex Carper, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has addressed the national wildfire situation with an online post that says in part, quote, "My ongoing gratitude to all the first responders on the front lines of this crisis. The federal government is working with First Nations and across orders of government to fight these devastating fires and to keep people safe." European Union trade ministers are talking strategy this morning in response to a new U.S. tariff threat.
It's right to say that our trade relations with the U.S. is on a critical juncture. It is important that we stand united.
Over the weekend, U.S. President Donald Trump threatened to hit the EU and Mexico with a 30% tariff. Similar to the threat against Canada, takes effect August the 1st. Retaliatory tariffs from the EU were supposed to take effect today. They've now been suspended to August 1st to allow for time to reach a trade deal. Stock markets across Europe are down this morning as the newest tariff threats from President Trump caught many investors by surprise. The Dow is also down triple digits in pre-market trading, with NASDAQ futures also in the red. The next time you call the Winnipeg Police Service, you may not be talking to a human. Winnipeg Police say they're testing an artificial intelligence-powered voice agent for their non-emergency line. It's hoped that using artificial intelligence will streamline the Winnipeg Police call center. The pilot project has been underway for several months. Police are now expanding its testing. The service wants to replace its existing automated phone system, which is based on pre-recorded prompts. The non-emergency line gets about 900 calls a day, in addition to the hundreds of calls to 911 that also come in.
All those calls are answered by the same call takers if it comes through to the comm center. So we really want to try to divert as many of the non-emergency calls as we can while still providing a quality customer service. And that frees up our call takers to handle the actual emergent calls.
If the current testing is successful, the new voice agent will be available around the clock, offering assistance for a range of topics. Is there anything better than unexpected friendships in the animal kingdom? A wildlife sanctuary in Ontario's cottage country is sharing the story of Ella the moose and their trumpeter swans, Odette and Kobe. Whenever Ella moves into the wetland sector of the sanctuary, the swans greet her and they all hang out. They've summed this up perfectly, really. Unlikely friends, permanent roommates. So cute. Here's a look now what's happening at Main and Broadway. It looks like things are starting off really well this morning. Not too hazy, it appears, at this point in the drive. If you see any problems out there, though, please let us know. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Forks this morning. They have a brand new facility there. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. Well, you could head to Tourism Manitoba and then step maybe 50 feet across inside the Forks, where the Pancake House was, to Indigenous Tourism Manitoba. Now, Indigenous Tourism Manitoba was established back in 2021. So many stories to tell, and accredited by the Indigenous Tourism Association of Canada. Now, in order to be accredited, it has to be a minimum of 51% Indigenous owned. Now, these are experiences like Nelson River Adventures and where the rivers meet. There's also Turtle Tours, which is an Indigenous-owned company that is going to take you to Riding Mountain National Park, give you guided tours. And these are really experiences, Rochelle, like Métis Beating, for example, where they're going to be storytelling by Indigenous people in our own community.
Okay.
Back to you.
Well, looking forward to hearing more about that. Thank you, Ainsley. Terry, here is the perfect lifeguard for this pool.
In every single way.
Jojo the cat is keeping an eye on his floating llama friends. This confident kitty takes this job seriously, and it's safety first on his watch. He's a serious guy. He's good at that. He's business. He's all business.
I love how intently he's staring at. Yeah. Are those all just little inflatables in the pool? Was there anything on them?
I don't know.
I couldn't quite tell. But anyway,
he's ready to dive in there. Yep. So sweet. How's it going out there? How's it feeling?
You know, it's not feeling too bad. Quite pleasant. I'm sad that we're going to be dealing with some smoke today still. Not as bad as we were, I don't think, over the weekend, or certainly not Friday. Friday was really nasty, wasn't it? And the weekend wasn't a whole lot better. There were moments through the weekend. I think Sunday morning I ventured out for a little bit. Saturday I didn't even attempt to. And getting out for a walk is like really one of my little favorite things to accomplish in a day. I keep the bar low. Anyway, Sunday I got out, but Saturday I just stayed inside. That smoke was so heavy and dense. And then it did kind of increase again by Sunday into the evening time, I noticed. This morning, it's not ideal, but it's not terrible. So, I mean, you can get outside for a little bit. You do want to kind of limit your activity when it's smoky and hazy like this, certainly. We might get some relief with some showers. Moving across southern Manitoba, chance of showers, maybe some thunderstorms. Cooler temperatures are expected. The unfortunate thing is we can't necessarily enjoy these cooler temperatures to the max because we are dealing with that heavy smoky haze. Taking a break right now. We'll be back with more on CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live Weather is brought to you by Destination Dinner Stage, Manitoba's only musical dinner theater.
Good morning. Coming up to 6:15, a vigil was held to honor the man who went missing from Grace Hospital and was later found dead.
Bring your gentle touch. Where there is sorrow, bring hope.
Rusty Raquin was reported missing on July 2nd, shortly after undergoing surgery at Grace Hospital. Security footage showed Raquin walking out of the emergency department. 2 days later, on July the 4th, he was found dead in an industrial area in the northwest corner of the city. On Sunday, people gathered in a parking lot near where he was found to remember his life.
He kept to himself, but he was very loving. Whenever he was around, you know, he would always give us hugs, and he was just a very good presence. And echoing again that he loved his nieces and nephews.
An autopsy is still underway to determine Raquin's cause of death. Raquin's family added that the situation could have been prevented, and they don't want this to happen to anyone else. A couple more potential measles exposures to tell you about, both in Morden. The province says they both happened Thursday, July 3rd. The first is Menzies Medical Clinic on Stephen Street from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and the Dynacare Lab in the same building between 10:30 a.m. and 1:15 p.m. Anyone who is there during that time is asked to monitor for symptoms for about 3 weeks and make sure their vaccines are up to date. And there is concern over measles outbreaks across the country, with fears there could be more spread during the busy summer months. Meanwhile, vaccination rates in children on the East Coast are a major concern. CTV's Paul Hollingsworth has the details.
With measles cases on the rise, one vaccine advocate is on a mission close to her heart.
You don't want your children to have bad outcomes from measles.
Paula Monroe Frazier's 50-year-old cousin, Tanya Cameron, was born deaf after her mother contracted measles during pregnancy. Her family says there's no excuse for anyone to not be vaccinated.
It is a proven vaccine. You know, it's not going to hurt you. It's been around for a lot of years now.
In Canada, there are now more than 3,000 cases of measles, more than 1,200 cases in Alberta, and a second lab-confirmed measles diagnosis in Nova Scotia. New research shows vaccination rates for children in the 3 maritime provinces are too low to stop the spread of measles, which has elevated concern based on the dangers related to the disease.
High fevers, they can get ear infections. It's not uncommon to get pneumonia. There is certainly a risk of going on to get inflammation of the brain, encephalitis.
Infectious disease expert Stacy Smith calls the current measles spread a powder keg that could get worse.
There's enough people not being vaccinated that it is becoming a serious problem.
Measles is spread when people breathe the same air and share the same locations with people who are infected. In the summer season, when people travel more, the situation becomes even more dangerous. With no clear explanation why some Canadians are still not vaccinated, and with measles cases increasing worldwide, there is a push in Nova Scotia to ramp up vaccination rates.
In the last few months, we've immunized 5,000 to 6,000 Nova Scotians. Many of them are kind of younger, middle-aged adults.
A step in the right direction for Nova Scotia, but health experts are anticipating more cases of measles nationwide this summer. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
It was a year ago Sunday that then candidate Donald Trump survived an assassination attempt on the presidential campaign trail. This was the scene near Butler, Pennsylvania, as the bullet grazed Trump's ear. He dropped to the ground and was quickly surrounded by law enforcement. They shot the 20-year-old suspected shooter dead, and officials haven't said what his motive may have been. CTV News U.S. political analyst Eric Ham says the shooting played a key role in the campaign ahead of the 2024 election.
Of course, that along with the debate where Joe Biden really began to show his age, I think were certainly key moments that turned the election, quite frankly, forever. It does continue to be a vehicle, a very massively popular one that the president certainly can and will use to generate enormous political campaign contributions.
Since the assassination attempt, the U.S. Secret Service says a number of agents have been suspended without pay, and it has modernized its training, among other changes. The Calgary Stampede is wrapped up for another year.
This year, when I came in, it was not super busy, even though I came in on the free days last year. This year, it was super busy.
We're still waiting for the final numbers from Sunday, but this year's Stampede attendance is expected to land north of 1.5 million people. Holding an event this size comes with challenges. This year, 3 people were stabbed in what police say was a targeted attack. There were also problems with overcrowding at evening concerts at the Coca-Cola stage. Officials say they will reevaluate which artists they invite next year. Overall, the Stampede CEO called this year's edition a success. This bike camp gives all kids a chance to learn how to ride.
I'm learning how to ride a bike.
The I Can Bike Camp in Windsor is run by the charity Kind Minds. Campers start on bikes fit with a special trainer in the back. From the kids' perspective, it feels just like riding on a two-wheeler. Some riders then graduate to a bike with just a handle in the back for the trainer. The camp is also made possible by volunteers who make lasting connections with the children. Here's a look now what's happening on the street at Portage at Polo Park. So far, it looks like things are moving well over here. No issues to tell you about. If you see problems out there, please let us know.
Yeah, you can see the haze out there this morning that we're waking up to once again as we glance now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. And we'll likely deal with that smoke probably for another couple of days. Today's winds remaining out of the north on the lighter side. Tomorrow's winds getting stronger, staying out of the north, so that could even, in fact, draw more of that smoke in. Our relief might come with some passing showers. I'll show you the satellite image in just a second. Let's first talk about temperatures. We're actually a little bit below seasonal right now in Winnipeg. 13 degrees, a normal low. We're starting out at 12. We are seeing that more seasonal 13 in areas just to the north and to the east of us. Actually, further east, you can see it's considerably warmer. 17 degrees at the moment over in Kenora, 18 right now in the Morden Winkler area, and for the most part, seasonal or above all across southern Manitoba, Winnipeg being the one exception to that. For northern Manitoba, a couple of high single digits, if not you're into the double digits or even the mid-teens. These are pretty typical or even slightly above for parts of northern Manitoba. The hazy conditions across the province, but no one place is dealing with the heavy smoke warning, not in Manitoba anyway. You can see those issued through Saskatchewan, and like I said, a stronger north wind yesterday. We could notice some of that being drawn back in again. For today, however, it's mostly the precipitation that we're keeping an eye on for southern Manitoba, northern Manitoba. Sunnier conditions are expected. Well, sunnier but smokier. Here's your noontime temperatures that we're expecting to reach high teens, low 20s or low teens across much of northern Manitoba. We're actually not going to be rising much more beyond that, staying in those low 20s for today. And in fact, through most of the week, slightly below seasonal temperatures, 26 degrees. That would be normal for this time of year. And our weather picture today looking gorgeous and fun out at Gull Harbor. Doesn't that make you want to head out to the lake? Thanks to Brett for the photo, and keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at CTV.ca. We're taking a break. We'll see you soon.
Good morning. Canine Water Sports Canada marked its 10th anniversary this weekend with dogs diving, leaping, and chasing toys to see who could make the biggest splash. CTV's Camille Wilson was there for all the high-flying action.
This is dog diving. The goal, a combination of coordination, reflexes, and distance. Wreck-It Ralph, a 3.5-year-old black lab, started competing in water sports when he was just a pup. His owner, Justin, says he has the best life.
We've been all over Ontario, parts of the States. Ralph loves the water. He loves going big off the dock. He's a very active, very athletic.
Ralph competing in the Canine Water Sports Canada dog jumping, bringing competitors from across Ontario to the 10th annual event in Renfrew.
Meeting the people. It doesn't matter where it seems we go, we make friends just because of Ralph's performance.
And Ralph did just that, meeting his best bud, Colt, at a water sports competition.
They've been friends since day one.
It's like having a child in an all-star sport, where you travel around every weekend and you get to go to the events and you get to go to different places and meet different people and have a lot of fun. And we love it.
Almost 50 dogs and their handlers stand on top the dock as the dogs fly through the air, catching a toy, being judged by the catch and how far they land in the water. The organizers have now added an extra 20 feet to the end of the pool, making it a 50-foot-long pool because some dogs now are jumping further than the original 30 feet.
Put on dog water sports shows and competitions all over Ontario, and we've been as far as Calgary, Alberta, and we've been doing this for 13 plus years, and it's a lot of fun.
Both Ralph and Colt train at the Avalon Ranch, a dog sports training facility.
I've been teaching dog sports since I was very young, so this is just an evolution of us doing that. So we brought the pool here like 20 years ago. What we do as far as the pool go is we have competitions and we have training. So if you want to come with your dog, if your dog's never swam before, it doesn't matter. We take it slow. It's only private lessons.
And Miss Molly is celebrating her 10-year-old birthday the coolest way possible.
She learned how to swim here. Mary gave her a course in learning how to swim going off the dock, and then she had her first competition.
My dog is absolutely nuts for this sport. It's our happy place, and whether you jump 2 feet or 20 feet, it doesn't matter to them. They always have fun.
Camille Wilson, CTV News.
Nice work. All right, coming up, we're going to hear a little bit more about Explore Indigenous. Stay with us.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
It's 12 degrees outside this morning, still with that smoky haze. The winds on the lighter side out of the north-northwest, they're only 6 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising, humidity sitting at 94%. Yeah, the winds aren't strong, but they're going to stay out of the north today, and then they will be increasing again tomorrow, so I'm not sure that we're going to see an end to this smoke anytime soon. In fact, as the winds increase out of the north, we may even find this smoke intensifying a little bit for tomorrow. Today, it is just the advisory or the statement that's been issued across the province, but you can see that the smoke is a lot denser or heavier in areas to the west of us, in parts of Saskatchewan. Now, showers will likely be making an appearance at some point here through southern Manitoba. You can see some activity. There were a few thunderstorms firing off. It's looking like now at this very moment it is just some showers. Northern Manitoba, slimmer chance of any of that activity, more likely to be just dealing with the dry conditions today. But again, smoke will be a factor no matter where you are. That chance of showers today and cooler temps to go with it. A high of 22 degrees when 26 is in fact a normal daytime high. 13 a seasonal low temperature, so we're right in that zone overnight as that chance of showers continues and the winds remain light out of the north. But I mentioned those winds getting stronger for tomorrow. At times they could be gusting to 50 kilometers per hour. The chance of showers will linger into the morning time, but clearing through the afternoon. Another below seasonal day. In fact, we'll deal with below seasonal temperatures through most of this week, and even another round of rain on Friday before the mercury gets back up to seasonal this weekend.
Thank you, Terry. A downtown Winnipeg restaurant was forced to close temporarily after a fire. Commonwealth is a restaurant at the corner of McDermott Avenue and Main Street. The restaurant's managing partner posted on social media Thursday saying someone broke a window with bricks and started a fire inside. The fire set off the sprinkler system, causing additional damage. The post also said the restaurant could remain closed for a few weeks, if not months. A full assessment of the damage is expected this week. Donald Trump's tariffs loom large over this country, and for some, the impact has been dramatic. But as CTV's Colton Prail reports, for many Canadians, it's been less obvious, though everyone is paying the price.
Slow going at the Canada-U.S. border. Commercial truck traffic has cratered since Donald Trump's tariffs. U.S. officials cite roughly 10% fewer crossings in April and May compared to last year.
We're down about 6% in the volume of exports to the U.S. and that is a big hit to, essentially what comprises 40% of our economy.
So far, economists say the biggest impacts have been sector specific. The Canadian Steel Producers Association points to over 1,000 job losses since March, while exports of vehicles and parts dropped 17% in April. Now, Canadian manufacturers are scrambling to reorient business away from the United States.
It's tough, and I don't know if people realize how tricky it is. Or, we spend every day, a percentage of our day is spent dealing with tariffs.
But for most Canadians, it's the grocery store where the tariff impact is apparent and driving costs up. Coffee, tea, fruits, and vegetables are all impacted, and experts say it's hitting rural and northern communities hardest.
The cost of transportation and distribution to those areas is already higher. Tariffs just compounds that affordability issue for those communities.
But tariffs have a hidden cost: uncertainty for businesses and consumers. Economists say it's driving down spending and keeping unemployment numbers high, especially for young people.
Students are facing the worst summer job market that they've faced since 2009.
And as the U.S. trade war dominates the conversation, Chinese tariffs imposed this spring are wreaking havoc on Canadian seafood producers and grain growers.
About $400 million in exports, almost all of it wild seafood, but prices have fallen by between 25 and 50%.
And economists say Trump's global trade war is also indirectly hurting the Canadian economy, driving down commodity prices and impacting revenues in Canada's mining and energy sectors. Hamilton police are still searching for a suspect after an innocent bystander was killed by a stray bullet Friday. 26-year-old Belinda Sarkodie was walking a street in central Hamilton just before 5:30 Friday evening when she was shot. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Another man who police believe was the intended target of the shooting was also shot. He was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. A team of investigators is looking into a fiery incident involving a WestJet plane at Vancouver International Airport. Dozens of passengers were evacuated from the plane Saturday night after a small tailpipe caught fire in one of its engines at the gate. Luckily, there were no injuries or impacts to other flights. The plane's onboard system was enough to extinguish the fire, but rescue teams were on scene for passenger safety. The airline says its crew elected to use slides to evacuate 50 passengers on board.
We believe the suspect may have known the male victim and targeted him, although a motive has not yet been determined. There is no information to suggest that the suspect and Belinda Sarkodie were known to each other, or that she was targeted.
Police say the shooting suspect is a 17-year-old man. The search for the suspect is continuing. Access to groceries in Elmwood might have just become a little easier. Morse Place Community Center launched a new grocery access program on Saturday. The program aims to lower the cost and increase accessibility of grocery products. It offers pantry staples like soup, cereal, canned goods, and pasta sauce. The project was inspired by the late City Councillor Jason Schreier, who passed away suddenly in late April of this year.
he was very instrumental in even supplying this program. Jason personally brought a lot of the food into this building that we're selling here today, and it's very unfortunate. It's such a shame that he wasn't here to see it come to fruition.
No means test is required to access the program. In-person shopping is available on first and third Saturdays of each month from 1 to 4 p.m. Delivery is also available, focusing on seniors housing, low-income complexes, and schools. Here's a look at what's happening out on the street at Confusion Corner. It's a hazy start to the morning, but overall, things are moving quite well in this part of the city. If you see any problems out on the streets, let us know. And here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial and Winnipeg averages are slightly lower at $1.32. The lowest price in the city is $1.24. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
Price at the Pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Forks this morning. Explore Indigenous. It's in the old pancake house there at the Forks. Tell us more.
Rochelle, we can't talk about tourism in Manitoba without specifically chatting about Indigenous tourism in Manitoba. And Indigenous Tourism Manitoba, established in 2021, has an official space now. Holly Spence joins me to tell us all about it. So you're inviting people to come on in and learn a ton.
Yeah, definitely. So at Indigenous Tourism Manitoba, we've partnered with the Indigenous Tourism Association of Canada and Travel Manitoba to promote our authentic, original Indigenous tourism experiences located here in Manitoba. And we want you to come into the Explore Indigenous space and learn all about these operators.
You purposely said too, original. Tell us about that title and what it really means in order to make this an authentic experience.
Yeah, so what we're doing is promoting authentically owned Indigenous experiences here out of the space. We currently have in our Adventure to Understanding Your Guide to Authentic Indigenous Tourism Experiences, we have listed about 20 experiences here located in Manitoba. As mentioned, we work with the national organization and Travel Manitoba to promote these experiences located all throughout our province.
And I won't ask you to list every single one, but at top of mind, it's a beautiful province. What are some authentic Indigenous experiences you want people to know about?
Yeah, well, top of mind, we have our Wapask Adventures. He's the chair of our board. He's located up in Churchill. We have actually a cluster of authentic Indigenous experiences located up in Churchill. We have Borealis Beading, who you'll hear from later on, Spence Custom Carving. Of course, we have Turtle Tours located at the Forks here as well as Turtle Village located out in Riding Mountain National Park. We have Diane Meta Washing, who's located out in the White Shell, offering authentic Indigenous tourism experiences of the petroforms in that area.
That's awesome. And you know, it's funny, I don't even have to preview our next couple of segments because she's just done it for me. She's doing my job for me. Isn't it great? You got to head to the Forks for this. We're going to be spending this time here this morning.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. It's still a little hazy out there, Terry.
Yeah, noticing that, but it's not as bad as the weekend was. We are starting to see or smell, I guess, some slight improvements regarding the smoke. May even see some more improvements later on this morning because some showers are expected to be passing on through, at least here through southern Manitoba. 12 degrees right now, north-northwest winds, 6 clicks, the pressure rising, humidity sitting at 94%. Sun is just tucking behind 360 Main Street, but otherwise pretty bright out here this morning. You're going to want to get the sunglasses, which tells me that haze isn't anywhere near as bad as it was, say, on Friday, because Friday you certainly didn't need the sunglasses. You just had that heavy smoke lingering, making everything look gray wash. Now, northern Manitoba does likely have a brighter day ahead, but again, the smoke is still going to be a bit of an issue, although no warnings issued regarding that smoke in the entire province. They've all been downgraded just to the statement. That could change. Much stronger winds are expected out of the north for tomorrow, and we could notice this smoke increasing as a result. Taking a break right now. We'll be back with more on CTV Morning Live.
Weather brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful at 900 Lorimer Boulevard, featuring Hunter Douglas shades.
Looking at the early markets, futures are pointing to a lower open this morning. Dow futures are down 124 points. NASDAQ futures are also in the red, down 75 points. S&P 500 futures have fallen 19. The Canadian dollar is seeing a slight decrease. Overseas, the Hang Seng is on the rise, up 63 points, while Japan's Nikkei is down 110. Good morning, it is 6:45. Police say a traveling crime ring that uses distraction techniques to swipe your valuables appears to have made its way to Winnipeg. Typically, a victim is approached by someone asking for directions or money to help pay for gas. In exchange, they offer the victim jewelry or a phone, but those items are actually worthless. At some point during the encounter, the suspects remove the victim's jewelry. Police say the suspects travel in groups, usually with vehicles that have out-of-province plates, and they often have children with them. The incidents happen during the day in busy public areas. The force says it wants the public to be aware since it's received numerous reports of fraud and theft in recent days.
These are distraction techniques where, you know, it's sort of like that old idea of like a pickpocket, but they're very successful at taking maybe bracelets off, rings off have been reported, necklaces have been stolen, and, you know, that's quite unfortunate.
Police are asking those who may have been approached or had items stolen to report it on the Winnipeg Police website. Friday marked a difficult anniversary. It was 10 years ago on Friday that Thelma Krall was last seen. The 57-year-old left her home in the Grassy Boulevard area for a walk on the morning of July 11, 2015. Some of her personal belongings, such as her glasses and mobile phone, were later found in the Civic Park area. 3 years later, her remains were found by a hunter in a wooded area in the RM of Taché, about 40 kilometers from where she was last seen. Police believe the person responsible for her death was familiar with that area and may even have lived or worked there. In a statement, Winnipeg Police thanked the public for the hundreds of tips they've received in the past decade. They say, quote, "The case remains open and active, and we will continue to investigate all tips submitted to our agency. We believe the answer is still out there, and we're hopeful that with the help of the community, we can find justice for Thelma Krall and her family." Conditions are not looking good for many farmers across this country hoping to sustain their livelihoods and feed Canadian families. In southwest Saskatchewan, they are desperate for rain. As CTV's Alison Bamford shows us, farmers are now forced to make a tough choice on what to do about their withering crops.
Dallas Leduc set out to plant a good crop this spring, like he hopes to do every year. But his Durham wheat is far from that.
It's received almost no rain between April, May, and June.
Crop insurance deemed it a total loss last month, along with 1,600 other acres.
These ones were already dead. Never in my history, never in my dad or my grandfather's farming history have we had to write off a crop this early.
The area is under a state of emergency due to extreme drought. Recent data from the Canadian Drought Monitor shows southwest Saskatchewan received less than a quarter of its normal rainfall in June. In 2021, Durham prices shot up following widespread drought across the province. But commodity prices this year aren't likely to see the same jump.
Prices are more affected by international events and the crops throughout the world. A localized drought in any one country isn't going to have as much of an impact.
What might change is next year's crop rotation. Wheat, lentil, and peas are more drought tolerant than barley and canola.
They'll be looking at something that has a potential for somewhat of a return with lower input costs.
As for this year, what little hope that's left hangs in the clouds. Rain can't save a lot of the crops, but it could help the ones seeded later in the season.
The later crop still has a chance, not a big chance, but has a chance of actually being a profitable crop.
Farmers won't turn a profit from crop insurance, so when it comes to salvageable fields like this one, Leduc plans to squeeze out as many peas as he can when it comes time to harvest. Alison Bamford, CTV News, near Glentworth, Saskatchewan.
To Texas now, where people are dealing with more heavy rains and rising water levels. A flash flood warning is in place for several areas, including Kerr County, the area hardest hit by the deadly July 4th floods. Crews have been looking for more than 170 people still missing from that disaster. The solar farm can function without much sunshine during the winter. It's located in northern Finland, just below the Arctic Circle. Even though daylight is limited during the winter, the solar farm can still generate plenty of power. The key? Double-sided panels. They can take advantage of longer summer days and light reflected off snow on the ground. Here's a look at what's happening in traffic along Kenniston Boulevard. Looks like things are starting to pick up over here, as you can see, but no issues to tell you about. If you see any problems out there, please let us know.
All right, unfortunately, that haze still lingers, although it's not quite as dense or intense as it was as we were rolling on into the start of the weekend. 12 degrees right now. We've got a bit of a breeze out of the north-northwest. The pressure is rising and the humidity sitting at 94%. Yes, on Friday, the map was purple in a lot of places, including here in Winnipeg, and that is no longer the case. Where we're seeing the purple is through parts of northern or central Saskatchewan. However, all of Manitoba has been downgraded to just the statement or the advisory regarding the smoke, and that includes parts of northwestern Ontario as well. Here's a look at the satellite image showing the showers that are going to be passing on through, which might help kind of dampen some of those smoke particles that are hanging in the air. There you can see that activity is right now just through southern Manitoba, but as the day goes on, we could start to see it through more of central Manitoba and even parts of kind of north central Manitoba. Further that you go into the north, it is likely to be a little bit clearer or brighter, although still with the hazy conditions. Temperatures, mid-teens or high teens. Some might do a little bit better than that, but it will be slightly cooler, not just today, throughout most of this week. We've got temperatures that have settled down somewhat from those high 20s and low 30s where we were at the end of last week and even at times over the weekend. Now, southern Manitoba is looking to deal with showers. There were even some thunderstorms firing off just to the west of us 20 minutes ago. There are more now showers, and we'll likely continue to see that activity through the south here. 22 degrees is where we'll be topping out today, keeping us slightly shy of the seasonal 26. Maybe a little more active as far as the storms go through parts of northwestern Ontario today. Could linger overnight and through tomorrow with that possibility of showers, but then clearing out and clear for the next couple of days. I mentioned those below seasonal temperatures lasting through this week, but getting closer to those normal temps for this time of year as we look ahead to the weekend.
Thank you, Terry. Let's check in now on the crew at 103.1 Virgin Radio. Good morning. Happy Monday, guys.
Good morning and happy Monday to you. All right. So we saw a lot of, like, in the last, I'd say 7 to 10 days, there were a whole bunch of photos posted online. People super stoked to get a photo with John Travolta.
Oh, yeah.
Like, obviously, we've had tons of super mega famous people come through Winnipeg, and especially in the past decade. But for whatever reason, that photo with John Travolta seems to be like the thing right now, which is kind of fun. And I'm stoked for those people that were so excited to get that photo. And so, your favorite photo with a celebrity of all time, Rochelle, you are on the clock.
Okay.
Chrissy first with
Selena Gomez. So Selena Gomez came through a couple of years ago to play a show in Winnipeg. I had an opportunity to meet her. She was so kind, so caring, and it was really fun to spend time with her. And still, you know, it's cool to like check up on her now. She's engaged, going to be married, successful business person.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
And she has a great album.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mine, honestly, she was going through a tough time and she really opened up to me. I'm not kidding. Cool. We had a real heart-to-heart conversation. Tori Spelling.
Oh.
It was awesome. Yeah.
That's huge.
I don't know. She was just like, I don't know. She was like going through some stuff. And we talked for a long time and it was really neat. Tori Spelling is mine. Rochelle Lagacé.
For me,
yours is.
Last September, I got to do a book launch with Jeannie Becker, who, of course, was the star of Fashion TV. And she's amazing. She had just released her new book, Heart on My Sleeve. Very kind lady, super fun, has interesting stories to tell. Her book is really good, too. So if you want to check it out, do so.
That's a solid one.
Yes.
That's a solid one. Well done, Rochelle. Everyone have an amazing week.
You too. See you guys. Now to a hockey legend in Nova Scotia. In this hockey-loving nation, we may have found someone whose passion for the game outshines even the most dedicated athletes. Here's CTV's Paul Hollingsworth with the story of a man who laces up almost every day for the pure love of the game.
Mike Fougier doesn't have his driver's license. He takes a cab everywhere, even when he goes to the rink, which is sometimes daily. When Fougier retired from the Halifax dockyard 17 years ago, he started filling his time playing hockey a lot, and he kept track of the number of games.
I wrote them down, then I started getting in a calendar, and I put it in a calendar.
Now 67 years old, this local pickup hockey legend has reached a milestone for number of games played.
Tonight is 4,000.
4,000 games in 17 years. His personal record for games in a single year?
305. I love the challenge, and it keeps me in shape.
And he enjoys playing alongside his friends. Fougier is not one to brag, but at age 67, with thousands of games under his belt, he knows what makes him a good goalie.
Probably I'm competitive. I don't give up on the puck. That's what they say.
Fougier says his wife supports his never-ending hockey schedule, which keeps getting busier.
Once Monday, then I'd play two times in a row Tuesday, the summer league at the Civic, and then two shinnies Thursday, and then Friday.
It's a source of amazement for his teammates.
It's unbelievable how much of an inspiration Mike is. Just showing up at the rink, 4 or 5 times a week to come play hockey, the game that he loves. I think it's amazing. I hope that at Mike's age, I'll be the same way.
Fougier says he'll keep playing as long as his body holds up. He'd like to play another 25 years, which would take him into his 90s. Fougier thinks it's possible, and he hopes other seniors follow his example to always stay active.
All you gotta do is move. I walk a lot, just keep moving, but find something you like to do.
In Mike Fougier's case, he likes playing hockey 4,000 times over a 17-year period. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
All right, we're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this with more CTV Morning Live. Good morning. It is 7 a.m. on Monday, July 14th. You're watching CTV Morning Live. Now, the wildfire situation is there are many fires still burning out of control in this province. Many people have been forced to leave their homes. Some are leaving this week or at the beginning of the week. So we're going to find out the latest on the wildfire situation, as well as speak with the Grand Chief of MKO. But first, your headlines. Wildfires force the vulnerable to evacuate. Toxic air has some Manitobans packing up for their safety. Plus, trade talks heat up after U.S. tariff threat. Will Europe's delay be enough to dodge a trade war? And anime fans level up at Icon. Cosplay contests and culture take over despite smoky skies. Bringing in Terry now. Smoky skies are still here this morning, but not as bad as the weekend.
You're right. I feel like Friday was probably the worst of it. And the weekend wasn't ideal by any means. I still didn't leave the house Saturday, and it wasn't from not wanting to. We had beautiful temperatures over the weekend. It's just that smoke, I found, kept a lot of people indoors, myself included. Right now, we are still dealing with those cooler temperatures, and we will throughout this week, but that haze still lingers, not quite as heavily, though. 12 degrees with a north-northwest wind on the lighter side right now. The pressure rising, humidity sitting at 94%. So, while yesterday the map was purple with the air quality warnings, and we are still seeing those warnings off to the west and parts of Saskatchewan, everything throughout Manitoba and much of northwestern Ontario has been downgraded to just that air quality statement or advisory. Now, it doesn't mean it's good. It just means it's not quite as bad as it was. Here, perhaps a little bit relief that could come with some passing showers. We were seeing some thunderstorms firing off. It looks like now it's just rain passing through much of southern Manitoba. But as we continue on through the day, it won't just be southern Manitoba. Parts of central Manitoba and even bits of north central Manitoba could get clipped with a bit of passing precipitation. The further that you go into the north, the more likely you're just going to deal with mix of sun and cloud, or again, we are still dealing with the smoke. Now, overnight and into tomorrow, that rain is likely to continue, but then it clears out and we're back to sunnier conditions again. Hopefully that smoke will be leaving us, but I'm not sure that that's necessarily Mother Nature's plan, because tomorrow's winds, they're going to be out of the north still, but gusting even stronger, and it could only draw more of that smoke back in again. Cooler temperatures through most of this week, back up to more seasonal temps as we're looking ahead to the weekend. Our art today comes from 8-year-old Zoe. Thank you for this one. A little flashback to winter for us, but oh so pretty. And we would love to see your art, so draw, color, or paint for us. Take a picture of it and email us, winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thank you, Terry. Manitoba's Families and Accessibility Minister, Nahanni Fontaine, is committing her team to training in response to criticism over her comments during a speech a few weeks ago.
Weeks ago, I used language that caused harm to the deaf and hard of hearing community. That moment doesn't reflect how I feel about deaf and hard of hearing Manitobans, ASL interpreters, or accessibility as a whole. I appreciate ASL is more than just language. It's deeply connected to deaf culture and community.
Fontaine was caught on camera complaining about sharing the stage with an ASL interpreter. The hot mic moment was captured by APTN National News after Fontaine had delivered a speech at a grad ceremony. Fontaine had been accompanied on stage by an ASL interpreter as she delivered the speech. In a social media post this past weekend, Fontaine apologized again for her remarks and promised her team will undergo deaf culture training and take other measures to enhance understanding and inclusion. As a wildfire threatens the northern Manitoba's Garden Hill First Nation, the military says everyone who wants to leave has already gone. The Armed Forces says more than 1,500 people have been flown to Winnipeg. A plane remains on standby in case more people want to leave. Garden Hill First Nation cannot be reached by road. The community of Snow Lake is also under an evacuation order, and people in the city of Thompson are being told to be ready to go at any time. Although in a Facebook post Sunday, the city said area weather today is expected to be more favorable to the control of fire behavior. Manitoba declared its second state of emergency of the year last week because of wildfires. As of Saturday, there are 120 wildfires burning in Manitoba, with 22 of those declared as out of control. Intense smoke from wildfires is causing problems for many, forcing the vulnerable to leave their homes. CTV's Alex Karpa has the steps being taken to preserve their health.
The one that keeps me alive.
Kathy Ross always has her puffer with her. She says she's been heavily relying on it for the last 2 months due to the wildfires.
I have asthma and COPD, and it makes it worse, like if there's smoke around me.
Ross is from Pimicikamak Cree Nation in northern Manitoba. She says the smoke in the community has been so bad and started seeping into her house.
I went into panic mode because of my lungs, so of course I ran out instinctively, and then I went into a coughing fit, and my puffers couldn't even help.
She was able to flee the smoke and arrived in Winnipeg earlier this week, but many are still stuck in their communities.
The smoke has been really thick. It's so thick that you can taste it on your tongue.
Nisitchawayasik Cree Nation has evacuated its nursing home. Jesse Horodecki, who works there, says the situation was very hard on the residents.
We have some residents that were literally vomiting because their lungs couldn't handle the smoke that's in the building.
And wildfire smoke can have long-term effects as well.
So you're more likely to develop asthma, especially if it's kids or pregnant people who are being exposed to this.
As for Ross, she is happy to be away from the smoke, but is sad not to be home.
The smoke did affect me, and I'm trying to make the best of the situation here.
Ross is one of the around 6,600 people out of their homes because of the raging wildfires, all hoping the situation gets better and they can soon breathe a sigh of relief. Alex Karpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The Prime Minister addressing the wildfire fight Sunday on social media, saying in part, quote, "My ongoing gratitude to all the first responders on the front lines of this crisis," adding the federal government is working with First Nations and across orders of government to fight these devastating fires and to keep people safe. Manitoba's police watchdog is investigating how Brandon officers handled the arrest of a suspect who attacked a high school student with a sword. Brandon police were called to Neelan High School on June the 10th. A student in a disguise had allegedly attacked another student with a sword. 15-year-old Chinoso Onuke was the victim in the attack. He suffered wounds to his chest, abdomen, and leg and required emergency surgery. The Independent Investigation Unit in Manitoba says it's investigating a use of force by officers after the initial arrest, which led to the 16-year-old suspect requiring treatment at a hospital. The IIU is asking anyone who may have information or video footage to contact them. The teenage suspect is still in custody, charged with attempted murder. Nothing, not even an air quality warning, could keep the anime fans from attending the Icon over the weekend. Icon 2025 kicked off on Friday night and continued throughout the weekend at the RBC Convention Center. The event brought fans of anime, video games, and Japanese culture together. Cosplay contests, voice actor panels, dance workshops, and marketplace of local artists and vendors were there. Compared to last year, it appears to be only growing.
I think it's great. I feel like it's doubled in size since we came last year, but there was no punishment last year, but I feel like it's doubled in size since last year. So it's growing every year, which is nice to see.
This family-friendly event started back in 2001 at the University of Manitoba and has grown into one of the biggest fan events in Western Canada. According to the organizers, the last in-person Icon drew more than 10,000 attendees. Here's a look at what's happening on McPhillip Street. Things are slowly picking up over here. There is still a haze in the air, so keep that in mind when you head out this morning.
Canada's benchmark stock index, the S&P TSX Composite, will kick off the trading week this morning at 27,023 points. It's gained 9.25% so far this year. In the U.S., stocks are also solidly in positive territory for the year, but futures contracts on the three main U.S. stock indices were down this morning. The price of Bitcoin continues to surge higher. This morning, Bitcoin hit $120,000 per coin for the first time. This week, the U.S. House of Representatives will debate and possibly vote on 3 pieces of legislation that are seen as friendly to the cryptocurrency sector. Finally, big U.S. corporations will begin reporting their second quarter financial results this week. 3 big banks, J.P. Morgan Chase, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo, get things started tomorrow. Investors will want to hear what companies think of the current economic landscape. When companies reported their first quarter results, some firms did not issue forward-looking forecasts, citing uncertainty around trade tariffs. From the BNN Bloomberg Newsroom in Toronto, I'm Paul Bagnall.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Forks this morning. Explore Indigenous is a brand new tourism consortium where you can access all kinds of really cool things that you could do across the province. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. And I hear that a couple of people have come to the Forks, peeked their head in and said, I'm not exactly sure what's in there. You got to come in and learn about the dozens of experiences that you can have in this province through tourism Indigenous. And we're going to be heading to Churchill, well, standing here at the Forks, but heading to Churchill with Wapask and Adventures. And we're going to be learning about the original, which means that if you're an Indigenous business and you are 51% owned or more, you can have that national accreditation. We're also going to be learning about Turtle Tours, which has a glamping experience in Riding Mountain. They've got ice fishing, of course, when things get a little bit cooler. And we're also going to be having a look at some of the workshops, too, including Métis beading. Melanie has brought some of her beautiful creations, and I can't wait to show you.
Okay, can't wait to see it. Thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. Looks like the sun is trying to shine its way through that haze.
It is. It's trying its best. There's a little more than haze, though. There are a few clouds that are starting to build. I should stop staring at it. I'm going to find spots on my camera right away. A few more clouds that are starting to move in, and no surprise there because we have been keeping our eye on some precipitation that's going to be tracking toward us, and we could find ourselves right in the path of what's coming our way later on this morning. 15 degrees, so the temperature, it is starting to rise here in Winnipeg. North winds on the lighter side, 6 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 89%. So yes, a few clouds starting to build up, but still more of a mix of sun and cloud. But again, looking a little bit of that like kind of grayish whitewash effect because of the haze, and you're going to notice that haze through most of the province today, although those warnings that we dealt with last week have been downgraded to just statements or advisories. It's mostly southern Manitoba that will have the precipitation passing through today. Not a lot expected across northern Manitoba, if any, through the most northern stretch. For us, that precipitation could continue overnight and through tomorrow across southern Manitoba. Tomorrow, though, these winds that are going to be very light through the day today will be increasing, picking up out of the north, getting strong and gusty. We could notice more of that smoke haze moving in.
CTV Morning Live Weather brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Let's check in now on our question of the day. We all have that one gift we'll never forget, whether we gave it or got it. We want to know what's yours. Our question of the day has moved from Twitter. So now we want you to text your answer along with your name to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. At CTV Morning Live, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, whether they're furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions are amazing. We want to see even more, whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals. Send them our way. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to petoftheweek@ctv.ca, and then catch us every Thursday between 6 and 9 to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on CTV Morning Live. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this. Good morning. It's coming up to 7:16. A vigil was held to honor the man who went missing from Grace Hospital and was later found dead.
Bring your gentle touch. Where there is sorrow, bring hope.
Rusty Raquin was reported missing on July 2nd, shortly after undergoing surgery at Grace Hospital. Security footage showed Raquin walking out of the emergency department. 2 days later, on July the 4th, he was found dead in an industrial area in the northwest corner of the city. On Sunday, people gathered in a parking lot near where he was found to remember his life.
He kept to himself, but he was very loving. Whenever he was around, you know, he would always give us hugs, and he was just a very good presence. And echoing again that he loved his nieces and nephews.
An autopsy is still underway to determine Raquin's cause of death. Raquin's family added that the situation could have been prevented, and they don't want this to happen to anyone else. NATO's Secretary General is set to visit Washington today and Tuesday to meet with U.S. President Trump and top members of his cabinet. Officials haven't provided a specific reason for Mark Rutte's visit to the U.S. Capitol, but Trump recently told NBC News the U.S. would be willing to supply weapons to Ukraine via NATO, a shift in policy for the president. He hinted at a major statement coming today. Meanwhile, Russia continues to strike Ukraine's Kherson and Donetsk region. Ukraine says at least 9 people were killed and 23 injured in those strikes over the last 24 hours, as the Kremlin claims its forces have gained control of 2 more villages as part of the ongoing invasion. Reuters couldn't confirm those battlefield claims. European Union trade ministers are talking strategy this morning in response to a new U.S. tariff threat.
I guess it's right to say that our trade relations with the U.S. is on a critical juncture. It is important that we stand united.
Over the weekend, U.S. President Donald Trump threatened to hit the EU and Mexico with a 30% tariff. Similar to the threat against Canada, it takes effect August the 1st. Retaliatory tariffs from the EU were supposed to take effect today. They've now been suspended to August the 1st to allow for time to reach a trade deal. Here's a look now what's going on in traffic along Norwood Bridge. Looks like things are slowly picking up over here, but overall moving quite well. No issues to tell you about.
CTV Morning Live Traffic brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
Time now for some entertainment news. Legendary Canadian folk music icon Bruce Cockburn has been officially honored by the city of Winnipeg. Cockburn, who performed at the first Winnipeg Folk Festival and at the 50th edition, which wrapped up yesterday, has been given the key to the city. The honor was presented at the Folk Festival Saturday by Mayor Scott Gillingham. The key to the city is Winnipeg's highest honor, recognizing the significant contributions of dignitaries visiting the city. This movie is racing to the #1 spot.
Doesn't take orders, goes his own way, huh? A lone wolf.
F1 has officially knocked Napoleon as Apple's highest grossing film. F1 has generated $293 million at the global box office. It even bumps Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon. They used to be just Disney kids.
When you're spending every day on your own, and here it goes. I'm just a kid.
Season 2 of Wizards Beyond Waverly Place is coming. Selena Gomez and David Henry shared this video on social media. What better song to use than I'm Just a Kid by Simple Plan? The second season will premiere in the fall. Kick off your week with American Ninja Warrior at 7 and at 9. Catch The Rookie. It's all right here tonight on CTV. The Winnipeg Sea Bears season continues, and we want you to be a part of the action. The Sea Bears will hit the court against the Edmonton Stingers on July 25th. So if you want to be in the stands, we've got the contest for you. CTV Morning Live is giving away a family pack of 4 tickets to give away to the game. Head over to our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and hit our contest page for all the entry details. Don't miss your shot. All right, have you been to a Sea Bears game yet this season?
I have not.
Ever?
No. I've been to an NBA game.
Yeah.
I've never been to like any basketball here in the city, except for like at the U of M. I've been to games over there, but no, not since we've had a professional team.
Yeah, I went once with my family and we loved every bit of it. It was so much action, so much fun. The music was great.
You know,
it was great to watch.
I've heard that from everybody that's gone to a Sea Bears game, so I don't know why I'm sitting on such a fun ticket, because it does actually sound like an amazing time. And it's not just about the game, like the whole evening is entertaining. Yeah,
yes, absolutely. It's a good time.
Well, I'll put that on my list then. You've inspired me to check it out. Okay, taking a look outside right now through the Bath Fitter Live Eye. Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Still a little bit hazy this morning. You can see what I'm talking about when we look outside. Just kind of that gray sky. It's not clouds. It's just that haze that's lingering, although it's not quite as thick or as heavy of smoke as it was at the end of last week. Barely improved over the weekend, but this morning it is starting to seem a little bit better. A little bit. Anyway, taking a look first at these temperatures this morning, we're starting out in these mid-teens. 13 degrees, it would be a normal low temperature. We actually dipped slightly below that to 12, but we're making some gains right now. So back up into the mid-teens here in Winnipeg, and similar temperatures all across the south. For northern Manitoba, some low to mid-teens through the kind of north-central stretch. Further that you go into the north, you're just in the high single digits, clinging there with perhaps some slightly cleaner air, because it's the north winds that have pushed all of that smoke down into the more central and southern parts of the province. And that could get even worse, because tomorrow's winds are likely to be 3 times as strong as today's winds. There we go. All right. I don't know why I pointed at you at home. Thank you for helping me along here. I probably should have pointed at my receiver and then gotten this going faster. Anyway, across the south, you can see the precipitation that's rolling through. As far as the temperatures go today, we will watch them rising, but still staying. I'll point it where I need to. Normally, I could just point it anywhere. Maybe I need to change the battery. Director Kim, remind me to change the battery after this hit. Okay, low 20s expected by midday. That's probably where it will top out. Low teens across northern Manitoba, might make it to the mid-teens by later on this afternoon. But for everybody, slightly below seasonal temperatures. And not just today, throughout this week. Chance of showers overnight and through tomorrow, clearing in a couple of days' time. And our weather picture today looks like a stunning view out at Gull Harbor. Thanks to Brett for the photo, and keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg weather at ctv.ca.
Thank you, Terry. A new study from York University suggests children from lower socioeconomic backgrounds are less likely to go to hospital when suffering from a concussion. CTV's Pauline Chan has the details.
Falls and sports are the most common causes of childhood concussions, but a study looking at concussions in kids up to age 19 shows a difference in who shows up at the emergency room.
We found that children with the highest material deprivation, so the lowest income children, had a much lower rate of concussion than children from wealthier backgrounds. And so that was of concern to us.
Material deprivation included factors like household income, unemployment, single parents, and parents without a high school diploma. York University professor Alison McPherson studied the decade from 2010 to 2020.
The rate of injury between the quintiles was consistent even in 2020, when organized sports were largely canceled because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Our concern is that these children aren't getting access to health care when they sustain a concussion.
McPherson says their numbers show children from higher income families were 1.5 to 1.8 times more likely to visit an emergency department than kids from low income families. She hopes their findings will put a spotlight on raising concussion awareness in certain groups.
But it might be worth it to put a special focus on schools in low-income neighborhoods and to try and gather some of the information in languages other than English in case the parents are not able to read English and French.
Children aged 10 to 19 are the most likely to suffer a concussion. The results of the study appear in the journal Injury Prevention. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Hello, Laura Dyken here inside the SportsCenter newsroom with your must-see moment from Sunday. For that, let's head to the Diamond for something you don't see every day. It's from the Rockies-Reds game, bottom four. Tyler Stevenson, linesman to left. He's trying to turn this into a double. The throw beats him to second, but he is not tagged out because he is a contortionist. Goes airborne to avoid the tag, showing off the hops. Stevenson safe at second, and he earns your must-see moment from Sunday. Well, later tonight on TSN, we've got action from NBA Summer League for you as the Celtics and Heat tip things off at 7 p.m. Central Time, followed by the Suns and the Kings. You can check that out on TSN 1, 3, and 4. That does it for us here inside the SportsCenter newsroom. Have a great rest of the day.
TSN Must See Moments brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, your Hunter Douglas shade provider for over 40 years.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Forks this morning. We're talking about Indigenous tourism and the impact on our province. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. Churchill, Manitoba is where Dave Daly is from, and he is going to tell us all about Wapusket Ventures and some of the Indigenous businesses that are elevated through the tourism right here in our province. Dave, thank you for joining us this morning. I know that it wasn't a quick trip, and I know that you're not just here for us, but I like to think you are. Tell us a little bit about Wapusket Ventures.
Well, Wapusket Ventures is we are a dog sledding company in Churchill. We've been in business for over 20 years. We have a storefront in the middle of town, and we have 42 dogs. And tourists come to town and they want to experience a little bit of culture of the old days. So we have a program called the I Did a Mile, where you come to the kennel and we do a cultural talk with you, and then we take you outside and we show you what it was like to go on a dog sled ride for a short I Did a Mile ride.
I love it. I would absolutely love to go. With Indigenous tourism in Manitoba, there's the original. Tell us what that is and why it's so important to have these Indigenous-owned businesses throughout the tourism industry.
Well, the original is an idea that came from ITAC to accreditate authentic Indigenous tourism experiences throughout Canada. As Indigenous tourism gets more popular out in the world of tourism, it's an opportunity for Indigenous people to have an authentic Indigenous tourism experience that's recognized nationally with a national standard. And the proceeds from doing the tours is actually going to Indigenous people to help them, grow their businesses and to be part of reconciliation, to get into the business world.
Before we're out of time, anything you want people to know?
Well, I want people to know that when you come to the Forks, come to our new center here and see the accredited original businesses within our province, and go and experience their product.
Thank you so much. From Churchill to Riding Mountain, we're taking you there in our next segment.
All right, that sounds like a fun little adventure. Looking outside right now, it's 15 degrees. You can see the kind of hazy conditions that we're waking up to this morning. North winds are light to 6 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 89%. That haze has resulted in the air quality statements or advisories issued for most of the province, not the far north, not the very southwest, although this is downgraded from, if you remember, on Friday, most of this map was purple, the purple being the air quality warning. We're still seeing that in parts of Saskatchewan, but throughout Manitoba and northwestern Ontario, it's all been downgraded somewhat. Oh, and thank you to Appearance, who changed the batteries for me. I'm such a big deal. I have people change batteries for me. Could you imagine at home if somebody just swooped in and was like, oh, I'll fix your remote for you. Anyway, thank you. So here's a look across southern Manitoba at the precipitation that we're seeing rolling through. The chance of showers is there through the day and slightly below seasonal temperatures. 26 degrees, that's normal for this time of year. We'll probably top out at about 22. Northwest winds, 15 clicks. They'll remain fairly light overnight. Still with that chance of showers continuing, dropping down to 15 degrees. Tomorrow still on the cooler side as far as temperatures go, but on the windier side. Okay, here we go. On the windier side, those winds increasing out of the north up to 50 kilometers per hour. So that could perhaps bring more of that smoke back in again. The cooler below seasonal temperatures will last all week long, returning to normal for the weekend.
Thank you, Terry. A downtown Winnipeg restaurant was forced to close temporarily after a fire. Commonwealth is a restaurant at the corner of McDermott Avenue and Main Street. The restaurant's managing partner posted on social media Thursday saying someone broke a window with bricks and started a fire inside. The fire set off the sprinkler system, causing additional damage. The post also said the restaurant could remain closed for a few weeks, if not months. A full assessment of the damage is expected this week. A couple more potential measles exposures to tell you about, both in Morden. The province says they both happened Thursday, July 3rd. The first is Menzies Medical Clinic on Stephen Street from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and the Dynacare Lab in the same building between 10:30 a.m. and 1:15 p.m. Anyone who was there during that time is asked to monitor for symptoms for about 3 weeks and make sure their vaccines are up to date. The next time you call the Winnipeg Police Service, you may not be talking to a human. Winnipeg Police say they're testing an artificial intelligence-powered voice agent for their non-emergency line. It's hoped that using artificial intelligence will streamline the Winnipeg Police call center. The pilot project has been underway for several months. Police are now expanding its testing. The service wants to replace its existing automated phone system, which is based on pre-recorded prompts. The non-emergency line gets about 900 calls a day, in addition to the hundreds of calls to 911 that also come in.
All those calls are answered by the same call takers if it comes through to the comm center. So we really want to try to divert as many of the non-emergency calls as we can while still providing a quality customer service. And that frees up our call takers to handle the actual emergent calls.
If the current testing is successful, the new voice agent will be available around the clock, offering assistance for a range of topics. A search is underway for an unknown number of migrants after a car crash in Quebec early Sunday.
So the RCMP is also assisting in this investigation. RCMP K9 unit is on the scene to help locate the individuals who fled.
It happened near Hemmingford, about an hour south of Montreal. The SUV crashed after it was T-boned by another car. Police think the SUV was carrying 10 to 12 people. Most of the migrants ran from the scene, but 4 people did remain and were taken to hospital with minor injuries. The driver of the other car, a 48-year-old American, has been arrested for impaired driving. The head of TikTok is calling for an urgent meeting with Canada's industry minister about Ottawa's order to shut down its Canadian operations. In a letter obtained by the Canadian press, TikTok CEO Shu Chu reached out to Mélanie Joly at the beginning of the month, asking for an in-person meeting. It comes after the government ordered TikTok to dissolve its Canadian business back in November, following a national security review of its Chinese parent company, ByteDance. At the time of that decision, the U.S. was looking to ban TikTok, but President Trump has now extended a key deadline in that process. A wildfire has destroyed an historic Grand Canyon Lodge, including dozens of other structures. The Grand Canyon Lodge is the only lodging inside the park at the North Rim in Arizona. The visitor center, gas station, and some staff housing were among the nearly 80 structures lost. There have also been no reports of any injuries. 2 wildfires are currently burning at or near the North Rim. A new study released this morning takes a deeper look into rising obesity rates in Canada during the pandemic. The study, published in the Canadian Medical Association Journal, looked at obesity rates over a 15-year period. It found Canada's obesity rate took off from the years 2020 to 2023 at about the rate compared to the 11 years before. The rise was particularly steep for young adults. As for the reason why, the study suggests lockdown restrictions played a role, as well as stress related to work and childcare. Here's a look now at what's happening in traffic along Osborne Street. Things are moving quite well. No issues to tell you about here. And let's look now at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36, while the provincial and Winnipeg averages are slightly lower at $1.32. The lowest price in the city is $1.24. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
Price at the Pump brought to you by KidneyCard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Right now we're sitting at 15 degrees. Not a bad start to your Monday morning. We'll be back after this with more CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
It is 15 degrees outside with the sky looking a little gray. That's mostly just the smoke that we're seeing lingering over the city. The north winds on the lighter side, 6 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, humidity sitting at 89%. The air quality map lit up yellow. That's not the worst of the warnings. Last week we saw purple, and that's where the heavier, denser smoke is. So today it happens to be through central, north central Saskatchewan, with Manitoba only dealing with the statement or advisory, and that includes northwestern Ontario as well. Here's a look at the precipitation that we're seeing rolling across southern Manitoba. Some showers. There were some thunderstorms earlier on, but it looks like it's mostly just some rain passing through now. Some parts of northern Manitoba may be seeing a bit of precipitation. At least the possibility is there. Thompson, Island Lake. Further that you go into the north, not likely to deal with that precipitation today. Temperatures across northern Manitoba, mid to high teens. It will be a little bit below seasonal pretty much across the entire province today, with the precipitation expected to be maybe scattered through kind of north central Manitoba, and a better chance of some steadier precipitation here across southern Manitoba. I mentioned the below seasonal temperatures. It's not just for today. Pretty much all week long, temperatures remaining below what you would expect this time of year. And while the winds today will be light out of the north, tomorrow they'll be increasing, and it could in fact draw more of that heavy smoke in again. So the possibility even seeing that air quality warning intensified again. Like I said, below seasonal temperatures through most of this week, but by the time the weekend rolls around, we're getting back up to what is normal for this time of year, 26 degrees being seasonal.
Thank you, Terry. We've been talking about Indigenous tourism in Manitoba. Now you're going to tell us about a glamping experience in Riding Mountain National Park. Good morning.
Good morning. Isn't Wasagaming just such a beautiful area?
Yes.
Well, to elevate that experience and to educate as well, Turtle Tours. Ashley Smith is joining us to tell us all about it. So what can people experience when they take one?
So if you're coming up to Riding Mountain National Park, we have off-the-grid accommodations with Turtle Village. We also have an ice fishing village experience that we like to offer in the winter. And if you're coming down to Winnipeg, we have a new offer here at the Forks called Turtle Tours. And what that looks like is you're going to book a 45-minute tour, 10 a.m., 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. And we're going to tell you the 6,000 years of history right here at the park, at the Forks with Indigenous guides. And it's a really interactive, immersive experience to learn the history from the Indigenous people.
Mm-hmm. Now that encompasses quite a bit, whether it be at Riding Mountain or here in Winnipeg. How key and important is it to have the guides with the lived experience and that family history?
So the unique thing about having an Indigenous guide is you're going to hear stories and history that are not written in the textbooks and that you haven't heard elsewhere. It's going to be really unique, personal touch to what we want to share here at the Forks.
Mm-hmm. And who is it for? Because there's the center now too with Indigenous Tourism Manitoba, giving people tons of different experiences as well. Who should take these?
So we open this up to walk-in tours, school groups, corporate groups. If you're looking for a reconciliation and the history on that, you're going to want to come here and learn from us. And yeah, it's open to everybody, all ages.
I might make a couple people at home groan when I say this, but you do the winter excursions as well. What can people expect?
Yeah, so we do something called Taste of Survival, and it's a new form of pemmican, and so it's a hand-on culinary experience. It's very interactive, and then you also learn the history of what food survival looks like.
I mean, of course, this has been around forever, but how important is it for people to come and learn something new?
I think if we're not learning something new, we're not growing. And to learn it in a different way and with different stories and voices, I think it's going to be super impactful for people.
Thank you so much. I hope you guys come to the Forks as well. It's in where the Pancake House was. Stay with us.
Thank you, Ainsley. As Trump's trade war rages on, it seems more Canadians are standing behind the federal Liberals. CTV's Jeremy Sharon now with what new numbers are showing about support for the government and the opposition.
In the dead of summer in the nation's capital, politics for some are still firmly on the radar.
Absolutely, yeah.
Fairly regular.
Yeah,
it's not seasonal.
It's not taking a pause this year at all.
I think Mark Carney is doing a great job to fight for Canadians.
Generally happy. We'll see him the next week.
According to new data from Nanos Research, when it comes to public sentiment, Prime Minister Mark Carney's Liberals are pulling away from Pierre Poilievre's Conservatives.
If you're a Liberal, you're looking at these numbers and there might be a little pep in your step.
Nanos weekly ballot tracking shows a double-digit gap. Just over 45% of Canadians favor the Liberal Party, while a little under 33% would vote Conservative. And for preferred Prime Minister, Carney is polling more than twice as well as Poilievre.
All of the opposition parties are in complete disarray. So you might look at the numbers and think the Liberals are really strong, but the reality is that the opposition parties are weak.
But through the summer, Carney's government will be focused on Donald Trump's trade war. And Canadians are keen to keep hitting back however they can.
We were supposed to go to New York with our in-laws in April for Easter, and we decided not to go.
We've canceled sort of what we can, and I know it's a drop in the bucket to them, but if 41 million people are doing a little bit, that will start to send a message.
Nanos data shows most believe the boycotts are temporary. 47% said they expect them to end after Trump's time in office, 28% said before, and 16% think they're permanent.
It's more against Trump, yeah. I think if he goes, things will be better.
Now, Trump's trade war also has a direct impact on those polling numbers. Whether or not Carney can land a trade deal with the U.S. is directly related to how Canadians feel about his government.
It's time for Let's Celebrate. Let's see who's having a celebration today. Happy 3rd birthday, Addie Bell, from Mom, Dad, Colby, Gabe, and Abby. Happy 65th birthday to Segi, with love from your whole family. Happy 50th birthday, Cameo, with love and best wishes from Joanne, Kelly, and Jan. Happy 10th birthday, a bonne fête, Frédéric, with love from Mama, Papa, and Rosalie. Happy 7th birthday, Brenna, love Mom, Dad, Brooklyn, Bradley, and Briston. Happy 1st birthday, Penny, love Granny and Grandpa. If someone you care about is having a birthday, anniversary, retirement, or graduation, let's celebrate. To submit your celebration, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Let's Celebrate, brought to you by Party Stuff, 3 Winnipeg locations and at partystuff.ca. CTV Morning Live Weather, brought to you by Canadian Footwear, where size does matter.
All right, seeing this grayish looking sky that I've been talking about every time we show you a camera view from outside. Well, seeing it firsthand, it's kind of a mix. Certainly there's the haze, but the clouds have been stacking up over the course of the morning, and I'm seeing some of that effect as well. 15 degrees is where we begin, which is slightly above seasonal as far as low temperatures go, but we were slightly below, so 13 a normal low temperature. We got as cool as 12 degrees earlier this morning, but we are making some gains as the day goes on. The sun is up now. The winds are light out of the north, 6 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 89%. The possibility of showers rolling across southern Manitoba, parts of central, and maybe even some parts of northern Manitoba could briefly see some passing precipitation. Most likely to see that activity here across southern Manitoba. For the far north, things will be on the clearer side, but not necessarily clear because, again, smoky, hazy conditions are being noticed all around the province. We might notice that intensifying with some stronger winds increasing tomorrow.
The Canadian Armed Forces says it's evacuated over 1,000 residents of a Garden Hill First Nation in northern Manitoba. Other communities like the city of Thompson, where residents are told to be ready to evacuate if conditions deteriorate, says light winds, low temperatures, rain and higher humidity are giving firefighting crews time to bolster defenses. Manitoba declared its second province-wide state of emergency of the year last week as wildfires continue to rage. Joining us now with the latest on the wildfire situation is Manitoba Kiiwetinoong Ogimakinak Grand Chief Garrison Settee. Good morning, Grand Chief.
Good morning.
Thanks again for joining us. Now tell us what's the latest situation in the north right now.
Well, the wildfire season is the worst it has been in 30 years, and this crisis is not getting any better. We're finding more people displaced from their home, and there's about 12,000 evacuees that are displaced from their homes. So this is far from over, and we need to continue to remain on alert to ensure that we do our utmost to make sure our people are protected and are safe wherever they're situated. It's a concern of ours.
We know that other communities are now being threatened and facing evacuations. What can you tell us about that?
I think that because of the conditions of the climate change, I guess, has really wreaked havoc on our First Nations and on the north and all over Canada. So this is something that we need to respond to. And so I ask myself is, what is the plan going forward? And we need to have a plan to be able to figure this out, because it's not getting any better, and that situation is different nowadays. We have to be able to respond to that, and we need to be able to have resources to do that. And right now, the resources are not adequate, and we need to have more reinforcements. And we're thankful that New Zealand has stepped up, and different parts of the world are looking at what's happening here. So this has received worldwide attention. So we need to really do our utmost to make sure that we address the situation and try to figure out a way to minimize the damage that it's causing.
The province asked for extra assistance from the federal government, which was approved by Canada's Emergency Management Minister. Eleanor Olszewski noted in a statement yesterday that the most recent assistance will be put toward humanitarian workforce support for emergency evacuation and sheltering activities. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that that is a very good gesture, and a thing that is much needed to make sure that we have the resources, and also, be able to address these fires. You need to have the right kind of arsenal to be able to do that. But in the meantime, to support the people that have been displaced from their homes, some of them have been away from a month and will continue to stay home. And the shelters are not the best place to be. It is stressful, it is not ideal, and especially for elders, we need to be able to address that. We need to have spaces to take these evacuees, and right now that the congregate shelters is not the ideal place, and I don't think any of us would want to be in this situation. So we need to do our utmost to make sure that we find ways to do that.
Prime Minister Mark Carney said in a social media post yesterday that the federal government is working with First Nations and other orders of government to fight the fires in Manitoba, Saskatchewan and Ontario. What are your thoughts on that message and what it means, getting that from the federal government?
I think that they've responded in a way that is probably a little bit late now, but we welcome that support, and not to be critical, but these fires have been going on for the last month and a half, and that's when we needed the help from the very beginning, because you have to be very proactive. We have to be very proactive. If we do not proactive, then the situation will be the way it is now. And I think a lot of this could have been prevented, but I'm thankful that we can work together and move forward, figure out a way forward.
Thank you, Grand Chief, for your time and this update today. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, coming up, we're going to learn all about Indigenous tourism and this brand new facility at the fort. Stay with us. Winnipeg's favorite cultural celebration is back, and we want you to go. Folklorama returns from August 3rd to the 16th, And we're giving you the chance to win a pair of 2 tour visas, giving you access to explore all 44 pavilions. To enter, head to the contest page on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and enter the clue word world. Good luck. Good morning, it's 8 o'clock on your Monday morning. Thank you so much for being with us. Coming up in the next hour, we're going to tell you about Manitoba's bat population, how they're endangered, what's causing them so much problem and a drop in their population numbers, but also little things that we could do in our environment to help them and to also give them a little bit of a safer environment. But first, your headlines. Fire situation, thousands still out of their homes, but in one location, favorable conditions may bolster the fire effort. Trade troubles, federal ministers are set to assemble as a deadline looms in ongoing tariff battles with the U.S. And fantasy, fashion, and fun. We are alive and abundant as the Icon Festival took over the convention center. All right, bringing in Terry. Now it is a day where a little bit of haze still hangs above our city.
Yeah, you're right about that. And we've been watching the clouds building up as well. So the combination of the two, the haze and the clouds, has made things look a little bit grayish out there this morning. 15 degrees. The winds out of the north are 6 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 89%. Those winds likely to remain on the lighter side today, but it just means it's really not going to help to clear that smoke out. It's not going to be as bad, though, as when those winds increase. Staying out of the north tomorrow could be drawing more of that smoke back in again. Right now, the worst of the activity as far as the smoke goes is through parts of north central Saskatchewan, all of Manitoba, and parts of northwestern Ontario. We've all been downgraded to just that air quality statement or advisory. We may get a little bit of relief. Some of those smoke particles may be dampened with the showers that are going to be passing through later on, although right now it looks like that system is moving south of Winnipeg. We can hope to find ourselves still in the path of it. We do need some rain. I've got my jugs all ready to water my flowers outside just in case, and I'll probably give them a bit of a drink. It's been dry since the weekend, really. That chance of precipitation moving through southern Manitoba is the most activity that we're likely to see. More scattered, broken precipitation through parts of central Manitoba, and really not a lot expected across northern Manitoba. Clearing out into the evening overnight. For us, overnight and into tomorrow morning, we might still see that possibility of showers, but clearing throughout the day. And I mentioned the winds increasing for tomorrow. Strong north winds could be drawing more of that smoke back in again. So that situation regarding the haze may only worsen over the days ahead. Temperatures remaining slightly below seasonal, with 26 degrees being normal for this time of year. We'll get back to those numbers by the weekend. And our art today takes us back to winter, but what a pretty scene that Zoe has drawn, 8 years old. Thank you for sharing this with us, Zoe. And we'd love to see your art as well. So draw, color, or paint for us. Take a picture of it and email us to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thank you, Terry. As a wildfire threatens the northern Manitoba's Garden Hill First Nation, the military says everyone who wants to leave has already gone. The Armed Forces says more than 1,500 people have been flown to Winnipeg. A plane remains on standby in case more people want to leave. Garden Hill First Nation cannot be reached by road. The community of Snow Lake is also under an evacuation order, and people in the city of Thompson are being told to be ready to go at any time. Although in a Facebook post Sunday, the city said area weather today is expected to be more favorable to the control of fire behavior. Manitoba declared its second state of emergency of the year last week because of wildfires. As of Saturday, there are 120 wildfires burning in Manitoba, with 22 of those declared as out of control. The Prime Minister will meet with his cabinet tomorrow to discuss the latest American tariff threat. The Prime Minister's office says Carney will speak with his inner circle about the ongoing trade negotiations. U.S. President Donald Trump sent a letter to Carney on Thursday warning that he'll raise taxes on many imported goods from Canada to 35% starting August the 1st. Carney said his government will work to secure a trade deal by that date. A vigil was held to honor the man who went missing from Grace Hospital and was later found dead.
Bring your gentle touch. Where there is sorrow, bring hope.
Rusty Raquin was reported missing on July 2nd, shortly after undergoing surgery at Grace Hospital. Security footage showed Raquin walking out of the emergency department. 2 days later, on July 4th, he was found dead in an industrial area in the northwest corner of the city. On Sunday, people gathered in a parking lot near where he was found to remember his life.
He kept to himself, but he was very loving. Whenever he was around, you know, he would always give us hugs, and he was just a very good presence. And echoing again that he loved his nieces and nephews.
An autopsy is still underway to determine Raquin's cause of death. Raquin's family added that the situation could have been prevented, and they don't want this to happen to anyone else. Nothing, not even an air quality warning, could keep the anime fans from attending the Icon over the weekend. Icon 2025 kicked off on Friday night and continued throughout the weekend at the RBC Convention Center. The event brought fans of anime, video games, and Japanese culture together. Cosplay contests, voice actor panels, dance workshops, and marketplace of local artists and vendors were there. Compared to last year, it appears to be only growing.
I think it's great. I feel like it's doubled in size since we came last year, but there was no punishment last year, but I feel like it's doubled in size since last year. So it's growing every year, which is nice to see.
This family-friendly event started back in 2001 at the University of Manitoba and has grown into one of the biggest fan events in Western Canada. According to the organizers, the last in-person Icon drew more than 10,000 attendees. Here's a look at what's happening at Kenaston and Sterling Lyon. It looks like things are picking up here, moving well, no issues to tell you about in traffic. If you see any problems out there, let us know.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
All right, let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail. We've been talking about tourism and Indigenous tourism at that. Now you're going to tell us about a unique beading experience. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle, and it's a practice that's been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years, and now you at home can learn to do it yourself. Michelle Gamache joins me from Borealis Beading. Tell us about this experience.
What I offer are Métis cultural learning experiences, and it's a way to help people come in, find the connections, and hear about the stories of the Métis culture and history, and find out the connections between art, beadwork, for example, but also food and nature. And the experiences that I offer are, most of them are on my property. I do have mobile experiences, but the experience on my property really is a four-part experience where people actually get to interact with nature and see how nature tells the story of the Métis culture and history. There's food, there's a beading activity, and it's just a nice, well-rounded program that I offer on property.
It's also stunning. This is your work that we're having a look at right now. Something like this, how long would it take you? Because, you know, you're the expert.
Well, I don't actually count how many hours, but it is numerous hours because there's never a firm start and finish. For instance, the smoking cap that was just shown, that's a project that was started pre-COVID, and I just finished it this year. And it's a story actually that's about my life, and that's how it came to be.
And as part of Indigenous tourism, what does it mean to you to be able to share in your culture and heritage with non-Indigenous people as well?
For me, I didn't really know that I was doing Indigenous tourism when I started. It was just something that came naturally. I started doing it. And then once I found out about ITM, Indigenous Tourism Manitoba, it was a way to really give me guidelines and give me a different way to express myself, but also they're really big advocates for promoting Indigenous tourism here in Manitoba. And it's a huge market. There are so many Indigenous tourism opportunities here, and I think it's just a great way to promote a culture that's been around forever, and for people to really experience it by Indigenous people themselves.
Thank you so much, and you can do that by coming into the Forks, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Thursday through Sunday.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Young Canadians looking for summer jobs are having a particularly tough time this year. As CTV's Kamel Karamali reports, economists say that could be a warning for the country's economic future.
Here at one of Canada's biggest malls, it's a hunt.
Just resume after resume.
For teens.
I applied to like 150 jobs and I didn't get anything.
Chasing down jobs.
It's honestly almost impossible to get a job anywhere now.
Antonio De Silva has been searching for months, now knowing all the summer roles might already be filled up.
The businesses as well, not opening up enough or creating enough job opportunities for the new generation incoming.
According to the latest jobs report, unemployment for students who want want to work summer jobs has climbed this year to more than 17%, not including the first year of the pandemic. That's a number not seen since 2009 when Canada was in a recession.
This has been a brutal summer for students to look for a job. The openings are just not there.
The trade war with the U.S. getting the blame for the downturn, with many companies hit hard by U.S. tariffs on Canadian imports.
In the last few months, companies have had no idea where the economy is going. The last thing they're going to want to do is take on a few extra heads for the summer.
The border city Windsor, for example, topped all cities in Canada with an 11.2 overall unemployment rate. In second was Peterborough at a 10% jobless rate.
At this point, we are very much, the canary in the coal mine on the trade dispute with the U.S.
All of it leaving some economists to believe that another recession may be on its way. Companies so far appear to be playing it safe when hiring, not knowing what curveball the U.S. will throw next.
There's been some caution that employers have undertaken just because the situation could really go in multiple directions.
And economists add the silver lining continues to be that Canada is not in a recession just yet, despite facing months of tariff threats. And this June, the economy actually added more than 80,000 jobs, with companies still investing, showing Canada's resilience through all of this. Kamel Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
All right, we're looking now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Hazy out there, a little bit cloudy, and we're going to see certainly the clouds increasing, possibly the haze increasing. These winds are just starting to shift ever so slightly. The temperatures, well, they're also increasing, although they will have a limit to how far they go today. Don't expect scorching temperatures today or throughout this week, as everything is likely to remain a little bit below seasonal. We are now sitting at 18 degrees at the moment in Winnipeg, seeing similar temperatures all through the southeastern part of the province, and just slightly cooler as we look off to the west. 15 seems to be the average throughout the southwestern part of Manitoba, with double digits now being reached through most of northern Manitoba, the exception being Churchill, still clinging to those high single digits. The sky might be a little bit clearer through the most northern part of the province, whereas other places are dealing not just with the haze indicated here by our air quality statements that have been issued through most of Manitoba and northwestern Ontario. It's a full-out warning through parts of west central Manitoba. And I don't have good news regarding the winds. We could notice that smoke being drawn in and getting even heavier over the days ahead. Here's a look at the precipitation that is right now moving across southern Manitoba. We could be right in the path of that. And as the temperatures rise today, I mentioned there will be a max, so it will be a little bit below seasonal. Here's noontime, low teens and just into those low 20s or high teens here in the south, but not getting a whole lot higher than that. So topping out in the low 20s here for much of southern Manitoba, when 26 degrees is actually normal for this time of year. That chance of precipitation overnight and through tomorrow, and then we'll see some slightly clearer conditions through the rest of the week. Taking a break right now. We'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Good morning, it's 8:15. Ozempic, originally for diabetes, became a popular weight loss drug, but with its Canadian patent expiring soon, generic versions could hit the market, raising concerns among some doctors. CTV's Kamel Karamali reports.
It's the weight loss drug that swept Hollywood. Ozempic and its sister drugs have more than 1 million users in Canada, according to Ozempic's sole manufacturer. The biggest barrier for many has been cost.
I believe it costs somewhere about $400 a month.
But now it's set to become more affordable and even more accessible by next year.
There's a certain time period in which the patent then expires, and other pharmaceutical companies can make like drugs.
Semaglutide, known under the brand names Ozempic and Wegovy, made and sold exclusively by global pharma giant Novo Nordisk. But the Canadian patent for those drugs is set to expire in January, opening semaglutide to other companies who can sell generic versions.
Cost will be down, and there will be more of the drug.
Multiple companies have so far applied to Health Canada for approval to make a generic semaglutide drug, including Hims and Hers. The American telehealth company says it'll offer Canadians access to lower-cost treatment options through its digital platform. But it's also producing concern. fewer barriers could mean more people abusing the drug.
I think my real worry is that if you start getting into a situation where online clinics are handing out these prescriptions willy-nilly to anybody who pays their, $50 processing fee.
2 years ago, a Canadian law firm launched a proposed class action lawsuit alleging the drug's manufacturer didn't warn about its severe side effects, including serious gastrointestinal issues like stomach paralysis.
We've received thousands of contacts of different users of Ozempic experiencing these types of adverse events.
Patricia Miller, part of that class action, no longer on the drug, but she says she's still facing the side effects.
I can't eat, I can only have liquid foods.
And Ozempic's manufacturer, Novo Nordisk, tells CTV News it stands behind the safety and efficacy of all of its medicines. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Bats are fascinating creatures. They're the only mammals that can fly and do important work in our ecosystems. Experts say bats are not scary at all, but what's happening to their populations is. Manitoba's bat populations are in big trouble. Disease and wind turbines are killing hundreds of thousands of bats every year in North America. Joining us now is the head of the University of Winnipeg Bat Lab and Professor of Biology, Craig Willis. Good morning, Craig.
Hi, Rochelle.
A bat lab, that's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool, yeah. It's a place where lots of grad students and undergrad students at UW kind of work to solve conservation problems facing bat populations.
And you, some of your students, you've done this, you've been doing this for 25 years. You crawl into caves, you crawl into all kinds of weird spots to find them and see what's happening to them, and what you're finding is not good, right?
It's not good at all. So for about 20 years, we've been working on a disease called white nose syndrome, which affects our 3 species of hibernating bats in Manitoba. 2 of those species are listed as endangered in Canada because of that disease, and that's the worst situation any species can be in. We also have done some work on another issue facing a different group of bat species, the migratory species that are sensible and fly south for the winter.
Okay.
They get killed in enormous numbers at wind turbines during their fall migration. And so that's something we're hoping we can start to improve on in Manitoba.
Okay, so when you see these kinds of numbers where populations are dying off, what sort of effect will it have on our ecosystem?
Yeah, that's a great question. There's now great evidence that the loss of bat populations from this disease, from white nose syndrome, caused real problems for farmers, for agriculture. They ended up using more pesticides, and that raised costs for everyone, but it also affected human health in those areas where bat populations crashed. An increase in human infant mortality, presumably because of pesticide drift. So there are real connections here. We depend on bats. They're great just because they're fantastically cool and interesting, but they're also an important sort of source of free pest control for farmers.
So we have 6 species in Manitoba. Some are endangered, and you're about to add more to that list, right?
Right. The experts that use the best science to decide species listings in Canada have recommended that our 3 migratory species be listed as endangered in Canada because of mortality at wind turbines.
Okay.
Wind energy, obviously we're seeing effects of climate change more and more. These fires this year have been horrible. We need sources of renewable energy. The cool thing about the wind turbine story with bats is that we can definitely have both healthy bat populations and wind energy. The solution's pretty simple.
You want the government, the provincial government, to do something about this?
Yeah, so Alberta has really led the way in terms of regulations and guidelines for the wind industry that aren't very expensive. Really what they do is have the companies stop the turbines spinning at low wind speeds. Bats don't like to fly when it's really windy. So when it's not very windy, you get most mortality. It's only at night, and it's only during about 2 months of the year during fall migration. So it's really a very small fraction of the annual power production of a wind energy facility. That has a massive benefit in terms of reducing bat mortality.
Okay, well, Craig, we're out of time already. So there's also bat houses, which are really helpful. So if you want more information on that, we have a link on our website. Thanks, Craig, for sharing this with us.
Yeah.
All right, I'm giving my flowers a little bit of a drink, and here's why. I know I've been talking about the rain that's coming, so you're like, why would you bother giving them a drink when Mother Nature's going to do that? Every time I look at the satellite image, it looks like that system is tracking a little bit further south of Winnipeg. You know that whole idea of like you take your snow tires off and then it snows? Maybe if I water my flowers, it'll rain. we can think. We need the rain. We are desperate for it, and I certainly hope that it comes. 18 degrees right now. It is starting to warm up. It's still a little bit hazy out here, and the winds are on the lighter side. They're out of the north-northwest now, just 5 kilometers per hour. Pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 79%. So with the clouds increasing, we can hope to find ourselves in the way of those showers. Certainly they are falling in areas just to the south of us and to the west of us. Better chance across southern Manitoba than central and northern Manitoba, although the possibility is there with some scattered precipitation expected through parts of the north as well. Many of us dealing with the hazy conditions, but that could worsen with stronger winds expected throughout the day tomorrow, gusting to about 50 kilometers per hour out of the north, so bringing more of that smoke back in again. Temperatures all throughout this week will remain a little bit below seasonal. It was beautiful up in Gull Harbor the other day when Brett was there snapping this stunning photo. Keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg weather at ctv.ca.
CTV Morning Live Weather brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
It's that time of year, and CTV and Chicken Chef want you to share how you're soaking up the season. From concerts to getaways, whatever makes your summer magical, we want to see it. These are just a few of the amazing moments from last year. Now it's your turn. Upload a photo of your summer fun for a chance to win the $5,000 grand prize, plus daily draws for $50 Chicken Chef gift certificates. So what are you waiting for? Grab your phone, snap that sunshine, and share your summer with us today.
Canada's benchmark stock index, the S&P TSX Composite, will kick off the trading week this morning at 27,023 points. It's gained 9.25% so far this year. In the U.S., stocks are also solidly in positive territory for the year, but futures contracts on the three main U.S. stock indices were down this morning. The price of Bitcoin continues to surge higher. This morning, Bitcoin hit $120,000 per coin for the first time. This week, the U.S. House of Representatives will debate and possibly vote on 3 pieces of legislation that are seen as friendly to the cryptocurrency sector. Finally, big U.S. corporations will begin reporting their second quarter financial results this week. 3 big banks, J.P. Morgan Chase, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo, get things started tomorrow. Investors will want to hear what companies think of the current economic landscape. When companies reported their first quarter results, some firms did not issue forward-looking forecasts, citing uncertainty around trade tariffs. From the BNN Bloomberg Newsroom in Toronto, I'm Paul Bagnall.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
If someone you love is having a retirement, birthday, or anniversary coming up and you want to send a special gift, a local company can help you send a perfect present that has no waste, gift wrap, or an impact on the environment. VidDay is a Winnipeg-based company that sends video messages to commemorate your loved one's special events. VidDay has been used by millions of people around the world, even on the International Space Station. The company is celebrating its 10th anniversary this year. Joining us now to tell us more is the co-founder and president of VidDay, Denis Deving. Good morning, Denis.
Good morning, Rachel.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, 10 years ago, where did this idea come from? How did it all start for you?
Well, if you can imagine or remember, over 10 years ago, Facebook birthdays were a big thing. You'd get all these messages on your wall. It was nice to see all these messages come together, but it lacked a bit of that emotional impact. And I thought, imagine those were video messages and how more impactful that would be. But then I'm like, no, let's take it to another level. Imagine these are all these video messages from friends and family were compiled in a video montage, completed with music and photos, and then presented to you in one epic video. And that's what really planted the seed of the VidDay concept.
Okay, and it's exploded.
It's gone global. So it's now it's a global celebration platform used by millions of people for birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, retirement, teacher appreciation, you name it. And what makes us really unique is that we make it incredibly easy and fun to collect video messages from friends and family to create a surprise group video. And you don't need any editing skills. You don't need to be tech savvy. You don't even need to download an app. And what used to take people many and many hours to create this type of group video is now could be done in a handful of minutes with VidDay, but by anyone.
A video was even sent out to outer space. Tell us about that experience.
Yes, there was an astronaut's family and friends and celebrities got together and made a VidDay on Earth and then sent it to the International Space Station to surprise an astronaut. And he actually recorded his reaction watching the vid day while floating in space, and then sent that reaction back to us as well, and we got to see this, and it was truly unforgettable. And now we could say that our vid day videos are truly out of this world.
and the kind of response and reaction that people that you see from people is pretty phenomenal as well. There's lots of emotion when they get these videos, right?
Yes, well, from the first vid day I made, there was tears of joy. And then we saw this after the second one I made manually was retirement, tears of joy. Destination wedding was more tears of joy. And I said, okay, this has to be something bigger. This has to, I want anyone and everyone to be able to create these type of video gifts. And it really fueled my passion. We make people cry tears of joy every day at Vid Day.
That is incredible. What is one of the most memorable messages that was sent for you, other than the space station, which is cool?
Oh, that is so hard to say, but we get testimonials every day, and even reactions sent to us, and you see from young kids crying tears of joy to the 80th man watching his birthday video and breaking down to cry. It warms our heart every day. So there's so many messages. Yeah, it feels good to do what we do. It
feels good that we know that it's from Winnipeg. This company launched in Winnipeg. It's getting attention around the world. Did you ever imagine 10 years ago that you'd be here?
Yes, I saw it, but no, it still feels surreal, but it's amazing to see. I can't believe it's already been 10 years. I'm very excited to continue doing what we do. And VidDay also offers other video products. So we have a suite of video products, and one of them is actually called Cinegreet. And actually, we've rolled this out. Well, first, Cinegreet allows moviegoers to surprise a loved one on the big screen.
At the movies.
At the movies, in the cinemas.
Fun. Takes a little planning, indeed. And of course, if you want more details on that, there's a link on our website. Thanks, Denis, for sharing this with us.
You're welcome.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
If you can dream it, you can be it. I love that you saw this kind of success coming. Good for you. All right, 18 degrees, 5K winds on the lighter side out of the north-northwest. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 79%. It is hazy out there. We are under the air quality statement or advisory. Now, if you remember on Friday, the smoke was pretty intense, and most of this map was lit up purple. Today, the purple is through parts of kind of north central Saskatchewan, but it only takes a shift in those winds before we're noticing an increase in that smoke, and we could in fact notice those winds increasing throughout the day tomorrow. Today they'll remain on the lighter side. I've been hoping that the showers will put a damper to some of that smoke, but it does look like, at least for Winnipeg, a lot of that activity is moving just south of us. There you can see it rolling through. We do have the possibility still of some showers. It's not saying all of it's going to move further south of us, but so far, that's what we've been witnessing. 22 degrees is where we'll probably top out today. Throughout the province, temperatures will remain a little bit below seasonal. 15 degrees overnight is actually slightly above seasonal, with 13 a normal low, but 26 is a normal daytime high, and those are the numbers that we're not going to quite be reaching over the rest of this week. 21 expected tomorrow, with those stronger winds increasing out of the north, at times gusting to 50 kilometers per hour. That chance of showers continuing overnight and through tomorrow, but then clearing through the day, and then sunshine for the next couple of days. I mentioned the cooler temperatures lasting through the rest of this week, but by the time the weekend rolls around, with some sunshine returning after maybe a soggy day Friday, again, we will welcome the rain, but we'll likely see those temperatures back up to seasonal for the weekend.
Thank you, Terry. Manitoba's Families and Accessibility Minister, Nehani Fontaine, is committing her team to training in response to criticism over her comments during a speech a few weeks ago.
Ago, I used language that caused harm to the deaf and hard of hearing community. That moment doesn't reflect how I feel about deaf and hard of hearing Manitobans, ASL interpreters, or accessibility as a whole. I appreciate ASL is more than just language. It's deeply connected to deaf culture and community.
Fontaine was caught on camera complaining about sharing the stage with an ASL interpreter. The hot mic moment was captured by APTN National News after Fontaine had delivered a speech at a grad ceremony. Fontaine had been accompanied on stage by an ASL interpreter as she delivered the speech. In a social media post this past weekend, Fontaine apologized again for her remarks and promised her team will undergo deaf culture training and take other measures to enhance understanding and inclusion. Access to groceries in Elmwood might have just become a little easier. Morris Place Community Center launched a new grocery access program on Saturday. The program aims to lower the cost and increase accessibility of grocery products. It offers pantry staples like soup, cereal, canned goods, and pasta sauce. The project was inspired by the late City Councillor Jason Schreier, who passed away suddenly in late April of this year.
He was very instrumental in even supplying this program. Jason personally brought a lot of the food into this building that we're selling here today, and it's very unfortunate. It's such a shame that he wasn't here to see it come to fruition.
No means test is required to access the program. In-person shopping is available on first and third Saturdays of each month from 1 to 4 p.m. Delivery is also available, focusing on seniors housing, low-income complexes, and schools. Now to a hockey legend in Nova Scotia. In this hockey-loving nation, we may have found someone whose passion for the game outshines even the most dedicated athletes. Here's CTV's Paul Hollingsworth with the story of a man who laces up almost every day for the pure love of the game.
Mike Fougier doesn't have his driver's license. He takes a cab everywhere, even when he goes to the rink, which is sometimes daily. When Fougier retired from the Halifax dockyard 17 years ago, he started filling his time playing hockey a lot, and he kept track of the number of games.
I wrote them down, then I started getting in the calendar, and I put it in the calendar.
Now 67 years old, this local pickup hockey legend has reached a milestone for number of games played.
Tonight is 4,000.
4,000 games in 17 years. His personal record for games in a single year?
305. I love the challenge, and it keeps me in shape.
And he enjoys playing alongside his friends. Fougier is not one to brag, but at age 67, with thousands of games under his belt, he knows what makes him a good goalie.
Probably I'm competitive. I don't give up on the puck. That's what they say.
Fougier says his wife supports his never-ending hockey schedule, which keeps getting busier.
Once Monday, then I play two times in a row Tuesday. A summer league at the Civic, and then two shinnies Thursday, and then Friday.
It's a source of amazement for his teammates.
It's unbelievable how much of an inspiration Mike is. Just showing up at the rink, 4 or 5 times a week to come play hockey, the game that he loves. I think it's amazing. I hope that at Mike's age, I'll be the same way.
Fougier says he'll keep playing as long as his body holds up. He'd like to play another 25 years, which would take him into his 90s. Fougier thinks it's possible, and he hopes other seniors follow his example to always stay active.
All you got to do is move. I walk a lot, just keep moving, but find something you like to do.
In Mike Fougier's case, he likes playing hockey 4,000 times over a 17-year period. Paul Hollingsworth, CTV News, Halifax.
Here's a look now at what's happening in traffic along Donald Street. Things are moving well. Traffic volumes are light here, as you can see. No issues to tell you about. Let's look now at gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial Winnipeg averages are at $1.32. The lowest price in the city is $1.24. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
Price at the Pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
We all have that one gift we'll never forget. So for our question of the day, we wanted to know, what was that gift for you? Carmen says her ex-husband bought wallpaper for her 30th birthday. Worst present ever. And that one I have never forgotten. I guess so. Eve says he was given a bike by his brother and sister-in-law when he was young. The grandkids gave us a calendar every Christmas, and that's from Eve and Helen. Marlene says her gift was a locket from her kids, and life is a gift. Thank you so much for your responses. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail. We've been talking about tourism and the Indigenous community, some of the cool things you can do around this province. Good morning.
Good morning. And some of those are even hands-on experiences. So maybe introduce carving into your life. Fred Spence joins me now to explain. So tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, I do soapstone carving workshops. They're really important to me, and how it has impacted me and my mental health, my spiritual health. So I always, I do the workshops to try to give back and share those teachings and make connections.
And this is something historic, but you've also added a modern twist, just like what we're showing right now. What are some of your other inspirations?
Yeah, my first kind of like modern pop culture was a hot dog, and I've gone on to a Pokeball, a Lego person, and I just keep trying to find some fun things to carve.
Do you find that this is a popular and a great way to connect others to the Indigenous heritage in a simple and hands-on medium?
Yeah, so I am from Pecos First Nation. I'm an Anishinaabe, and during the workshop I share about who I am, my story, where I come from, and teachings. And I think it is a very positive way for people to connect to the culture, and yeah.
What's the feedback been so far? What are some of the things that they have said when they actually get the opportunity to do it themselves?
It's quite wonderful to see and witness people just express joy and gratitude. So the overall feedback is that they love it, they enjoy themselves. And one thing that I really enjoy is when somebody says they aren't artistic, then for me that's a challenge to help break that wall down for them. So
you've done a hot dog and a Pokeball. What's next? Ice cream? Can you do an ice cream cone?
A donut, ice cream cone, and if anybody does know, but I'm currently working on a Charizard, so.
That's awesome. I love it. Connecting to heritage and culture, and there's so many beautiful places to explore right here in our province through Indigenous tourism. This new space, you got to come to the Forks and check it out. Open Thursday through Sundays from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Perfect.
Back
Thank
to
you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. How's it? What's going on with your flowers?
I'm just doing a little bit of flower maintenance and some deadheading. I've talked about this before.
Yeah.
You know, I mentioned on the show on Friday when that smoke was really heavy, I'm like, oh, I wonder what that kind of smoke does for the plants. It only took a few days to see what the smoke does to the plants, and my plants at home as well, which got continuously watered over the weekend. I know these ones get a little bit neglected over the weekend, but my little flowers were just like shriveled up, and you can see that they are not loving these conditions. I'm sure most people aren't really loving these conditions, as we've been dealing with this smoky haze since fire season started, some days worse than others. I mean, Friday it was really bad. It's improved somewhat from that. The warnings that are around the province have been downgraded to just the statements or advisories, but it's very likely that we're going to have warnings issued again, because tomorrow's winds out of the north will be increasing and will very likely draw some of that smoke back in again. Hoping for some rain today. I know I watered my plants anyway, just in case, and again, because they go all weekend getting neglected and they didn't get much of a drink. So the possibility of some showers is there for southern Manitoba today, maybe even overnight and into tomorrow morning, then eventually clearing out all week long. Slightly below seasonal temperatures, low 20s as opposed to the seasonal 26 degrees, but we'll get back to those kind of temperatures looking ahead to the coming weekend. Taking a break right now. We'll be back with more on CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
Good morning, it's 8:45. A Quebec man is considering moving to another province, all to bring the love of his life to Canada as soon as possible. CTV's Laurence Brisson-Dubreuil has the story.
A Quebec man married the love of his life, but she's in Ivory Coast and he can't bring her home.
Ça prend 37 mois pour le Québec.
Dave Boucher says the wait in Quebec is 3 times longer than the rest of the country, 37 months here compared to 11 elsewhere. He feels abandoned by his own province. The government says it's reached its limit and it's suspending new sponsorship applications for spouses, common law partners, and adult children until June 2026. Over at Québec Réunifié, Marie Pilon says this policy targets couples who are the most likely to succeed here.
These are people who are married to locals. They're going to learn the language. They're going to learn the culture. My husband is here currently, and he has integrated seamlessly.
She argues this decision undercuts Quebec's future in a province that's already facing a demographic crunch.
We already are experiencing a severe drop in birth rates. The answer to that, and it's been documented, is immigration, because we are not making babies.
And she calls the government's math on its immigration cap shaky at best.
There is no scientific determination of what that is.
Immigration lawyer Maxime Lapointe says this entire decision is unreasonable and possibly illegal.
It's about time that the government of Canada, the new government of Mark Carney, they get involved in this situation.
Quebec has capped family sponsorship applications at 13,000 over 2 years. Lapointe says some files submitted this week may have to start from scratch next year, while others will be left in limbo with more piling on.
What will happen in June 2026? There'll be 10,000 of cases and more at the same day.
Beneath the numbers, real people waiting. Boucher flies to Ivory Coast every year to see his wife, but the distance is starting to take a toll.
C'est très, très dur de vivre séparé.
He's now considering leaving Quebec just to bring her to the country faster. With thousands facing similar delays, many could look to other provinces, all in the name of love. Laurence Brisson-Dubreuil, CTV News.
The Winnipeg Fringe Festival is back for another year, and it starts Wednesday. Performers from all around the world are migrating here to showcase their shows, and that includes the producer and performer of a new Fringe show called Tess Talks. Joining us is Fringe performer Tess Emery. Good morning, Tess.
Hi, good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, you're from Winnipeg.
I am.
But this is your first Fringe ever.
Yeah, well, yeah, performing, like, yeah, it's a big first this week.
What does it mean to you to be a part of the Winnipeg Fringe Festival? It's kind of famous.
It is. It's huge. I entered a lottery back in November to get a venue, and I won. I found out in December, and I was like super excited, scared somewhat too. But I mean, yeah, and everyone's been super supportive over there, all the staff, and yeah, so it's been a really good experience so far, for sure.
Okay, let's talk about Tess Talks. It's sort of a play on TED Talks, right?
It is. Okay. Yeah, so it's basically the same sort of format. The only thing, like, it's just that we got the red carpet there, just sort of like the one lighting situation, and I have my sign. The big difference is that we're not experts, we're just real people, just telling our stories. So it's just basically 5 stories, 5 voices on one stage.
And what's interesting is that there's someone coming from the UK, so really an audience will enjoy stories from around the world.
Absolutely. We have we all met at Hollyhock. It's a retreat on Cortes Island in Vancouver last year, and we put on a little show there. And so we decided, so they're all coming back, like we're all going to come to Winnipeg. And so, yeah, one of us is coming from England, and then we have 3 coming from BC today. In fact, we have a 7-year-old lady, and she's coming from Smithers, BC, to share her story. And it's just incredible. Her name's Teo, and it's amazing.
Tell us a little bit about what we can expect from the show itself.
So it's just like we're going to have, there's going to be the 5 storytellers, and we each have about 10 to 12 minutes to tell our stories. And all the stories are relatable. Like, it's just from just different challenges that we've had in life, and just how we kind of overcame them. Okay. So it's just, I think it's very relatable to a lot of people, right? We're all kind of having our different struggles at different times.
And what's amazing is people are either going to laugh, they're going to cry, they're going to feel all those emotions.
Absolutely, yeah. It's got definitely all the elements of a true, like, amazing story.
So you met in BC, and then you won this lottery, and you contacted them and said, hey, do you want to join up and do this again? And they all said yes.
Yes, I know, it was crazy. I called them, like, I contacted them all in December, and I was like, so I just won, the Fringe lottery. Do you guys want to come to Winnipeg and put on another storytelling show, telling show? And at first it was a little bit of crickets. Yeah. But I mean, eventually by February we were like, yeah, let's just do it. I mean, why not, right? Yeah, so.
And it's also unique, your show, because you're asking the audience to also participate in their own way.
Yeah, exactly. And we have this, it's called Jump on a Box. We're doing it around the Fringe. And basically, if anyone wants to tell their story, another Fringer or just a passerby wants to hop on our box and tell a story or sing a song, whatever, we'll give them a free coffee from Parlor Coffee in the exchange. So So yeah, it's fun. It'll be, you know, so if you see a couple picket signs in a box, that's probably
That's
me
you.
and my group. Yeah.
Okay, so if someone's interested in checking out the show, where can they find you?
So I hopefully my link will be on the thing.
We'll have the link on our
we're at
website.
Venue 9. It's the Planetarium Auditorium. So please come by.
Well, good luck with the show and congratulations.
I
and
thank you
thanks-
so much for the
Thank you for
opportunity.
sharing this with us.
Awesome.
And
Thank you
It
so
sounds like
much.
it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, and you got a good venue, too. Inside and air conditioned. Gotta love that. 18 degrees, north-northwest winds, 5 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising and the humidity sitting at 79%. A little bit hazy out there. Little bit smoky throughout the province. It's not just here in Winnipeg, although it's not as bad as it was when we were moving into the weekend. You remember on Friday, purple showing up through a lot of the map. Well, still northwestern, well, kind of north central Manitoba, or Saskatchewan, pardon me, is included in the warning, but we've been downgraded here through most of Manitoba and northwestern Ontario. Precipitation, waiting to see some of that. We're all desperately needing the rain. Everybody could use it, only some are going to get it. And so far, nothing has fallen in Winnipeg. We can still keep our fingers crossed that throughout the day, overnight, or tomorrow morning, we see those showers. You can see the cooler temperatures expected all throughout this week. 26 degrees, that's normal for this time of year. We could be back to those numbers as we're looking ahead to the weekend. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center.
Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
Well, before we say goodbye, we're going to send you off with some fun video. Here is the perfect lifeguard for this pool.
In every single way.
Jojo the cat is keeping an eye on his floating llama friends. This confident kitty takes his job seriously. It's safety first on his watch. Look at him. He means business.
What a setup he's got there.
I know, exactly. From a heartwarming hairdo to a hilarious hair don't. This alpaca just got back from its annual shearing. Looks a little unsure of itself. All the wool is gone except for what's on its head. Was that a snort, Terry?
I'm sorry, that one got me.
He's trying to hide.
Look at that.
He doesn't want anybody to see
that
him.
little pencil neck.
Poor guy. And lastly, the look of doing something you don't want to do. Look at his face. Poor pup has to clean his paws against his will. Mama knows best, so he reluctantly gives in while silently growling inside. Aw.
Okay, standing O for these videos today.
Yes,
I'm not going
that
to get
was
up,
good.
but like, I applaud.
That does it for us. We'll see you tomorrow.